What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. So we've had a pretty serious pullback in cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of the altcoins really had a major pullback. And I felt like, what better time to go live? A lot of people did tell me to go live as well, but what better time to go live than when we're actually, not just going up, when things are not looking so hot. Everybody, we all want to boast and brag when things are going well, including myself, but it's kind of hard to go live and actually, say, hey, it's not looking so hot right now. What's going on? And I wanted to take a minute to discuss what my mentality is when I see a pullback. And I wanted to talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about cryptocurrency. Let's talk about precious metals. Now precious metals are recovering, but there was a bit of a pullback yesterday. Or this morning rather. But I want to talk about what my mentality is like on a day like that, when we have a real bad, nasty pullback. Let me look at crypto right now. Bitcoin's still at 48,800. So, yeah, it's down 9%, 9.5%. But, let's look at the monthly. Let's look at the other charts. Looks pretty healthy. Looks pretty healthy on those charts. But it is really something when you see something with this much volatility. When you see something with 10% fluctuations, it gets pretty heavy. And on days like this, I have very vocally said the only crypto I'm interested in is Bitcoin. It's the only one I'm interested in. It's basically my logic behind it is I go, okay, it's very new. I'm still extremely skeptical. I come from the precious metals world. So I look at Bitcoin, I look at cryptocurrencies. I still do every day, extremely skeptical of Bitcoin. I am way more skeptical of any coin that has an inflation rate, regardless of the adoption rate. I am very, very skeptical of any coin with any kind of inflation rate to it. I'm very skeptical of any coin that was just automatically dispersed with a set amount. I'm very skeptical of coins that are made by memes. I'm very skeptical of things like that, especially when these altcoins and different things have, market caps that are absurd. When I saw, Doggy Coin, I like to say, people say, why does he call it Doggy Coin? Because I'm calling it a joke. That's why I call it Doggy Coin. But the Dogecoin, when it was at 10 billion, that's when I'm going, 10 billion on the market cap. I know you guys see 8 cents, but I'm looking at the market cap here. Let's look at the market cap. And by the way, let's pull up Dogecoin. Let's see how Dogecoin fared this storm here. Because Bitcoin, on the monthly still looks pretty strong. Let's look at Doge. Doge down 10% as well. But however, the day I started talking bad about Doge and why I didn't like Dogecoin, Doggy Coin as I like to call it, the video's posted. A lot of people in the live stream right now remember when I was vocal about, Doggy Coin, and that was at 8 cents and change. That was at over 8 cents on Doggy Coin. Right now it is at 4 cents. It's cut in half from when I was talking about it. And by the way, when I made that video, Bitcoin was in the mid 20,000s or early 30,000. I don't know. You can go back to that video. The way you can find that video is it was the most heavily downvoted video I ever had, was the one where I went opposed to Doggy Coin when I was over 8 cents. And when I was opposed to GameStop when it was over 200. When all of that was happening, I stuck to my gut, and even peak hype, just like right now, it's not easy to talk about cryptocurrency and talk about how I'm bullish Bitcoin when it's pulled back 10%. I'll go against the grain when it comes to my opinion. I've always followed my gut. I've always followed my personal feel on a situation. And that's what I wanted to make this video about today, is just my mindset on a day like this. And hopefully it can help some other people when you have, a bit of skeptical nature going on and you get a pullback. My current strategy, especially during the crazy times that we are in today, is very simple. I develop a long-term thesis, and to me, I am not willing to put my money in anything right now that I am not willing to leave that money there for over 36 months. And that's a fancy way of saying 3 years. So my thesis timeline on everything I'm putting my money into right now, and keep in mind I'm 27, until I'm 30 is when I want to, that's my minimum timeline requirement for where I'm parking my money. So obviously I got in early on Bitcoin. If you've been following this channel for a while, I've been in Bitcoin since prior to 10,000. But I was buying consistently all the way up to even 17,000. I even bought a little bit more at like 35,000. You know, I still am going to buy a little bit more probably if I get an opportunity to get a little bit more money together. You know, I might be getting a little bit more on this pullback myself. You know, and with that being said, I have to say that I am not a financial advisor. My channel is not to be taken as financial advice. Could be completely wrong, just my opinion. So I am not responsible for any of your trading or any of your buying or anything like that. Not to be taken as financial advice. Disclaimer. We as humans really are very simple when it comes to decision making. You know, and this is something I really want to talk about right now. A lot of us, we think very with the FOMO approach, you know, fear of missing out. And that's the FOMO part of your brain is like that kind of pre-evolution part of your brain, the reptilian part of your brain, maybe you could call it. It's kind of the impulsive, the fight or flight, you know, it's kind of, okay, well, this is flight. What do I got to do right now? Where the hard part to access of your brain is the logical perspective of going, what am I doing with my capital right now? Do I believe in what I'm have I studied everything that I'm putting my money into? Did I just buy Doggy Coin because everybody's talking about Doggy Coin, Dogecoin? Did I just get into it because of the hype? Am I getting into silver because of this hype going on with this Reddit thing? Am I getting into this because of Wallstreetsilver or Wall Street bets? You know, that's the non-law. There's only really two parts. It's like I kind of divide obviously you got two hemispheres in your brain. I divide it where it's like, okay, I'm thinking with the logical part of my brain or if I'm thinking with the impulsive part of my brain. Unfortunately, 98% of humans make decisions impulsively. So if you're in that 2% category that can take a step back and breathe for a minute and study what you're putting your money into and then understand, okay, wait a minute. Well, why am I only into Bitcoin? All of my friends are really in some serious pain, you know, when it comes to the Ethereum dropping quite a bit. Ethereum dropped from 2,000 down to 1,500. All these altcoins, the XRP, I believe, dropped quite a bit, maybe 20% or something on XRP. All the altcoins experienced some very serious pullbacks. But in my personal opinion, it's because people are not reading the white papers. People are not studying what they're putting their money into, you know, and if any coin inflates right now with the cryptocurrency market, if it has any kind of inflation rate to it, whether it's 2%, 5% can be put into the ecosystem of coins, I'm not for it right now. I want my money to be in something that is finite, that is 21 million of them max. If I'm going to put any money into a market that I'm skeptical of in the first place, I'm going to go put it into all in on the one that I think has a good white paper, that I think really is getting adopted. I don't see PayPal picking up, you know, any altcoin. I don't see Dogecoin getting picked up by Cash App. I don't see it getting picked up by PayPal. I don't see a grayscale for, you know, Dogecoin. I don't see anything of major adoption in these altcoins. All I see is pump and dumps and hype. And so I'm not the type of person to diversify into things that I don't believe in. A lot of people go, oh, well, you should diversify in your crypto holdings. You should buy all these different cryptocurrencies. It's like, no, I've studied the white paper and I like one of their white papers. With Bitcoin, I can relate this back to the days of Tesla. And right now with Bitcoin, people are worried about a 10% fluctuation. But say with Tesla, I remember back when Tesla was 300 prior to the stock split. So you got to remember it did a 5-to-1 stock split. So realistically, if it's at 700 or whatever, it's really 3,500 because they did a 5-to-1 stock split. Prior to that stock split in Tesla, it was a lot of volatility going on. Days where it'd go from 300 down to 250. You know, it'd have these $50 jumps and it was just moving all over the place with this volatility. You had guys like Ron Barron that were very bullish. You had guys like Chamath Palihapitiya that were very bullish. You had all of these different investors that were very bullish, but you also had a lot of shorts. Guys like Jim Chanos, guys like Andrew Left, ironically, who's in charge of Citron. Citron's been in the press lately, but Andrew Left was a big short on Tesla. But what's the point that I'm talking about? Well, Ron Barron and a lot of these billionaires actually visited the factory. They went to Fremont and they visited the Tesla factory. They studied what they were putting their money into. They knew it had a big valuation on it, and there was a lot, put into that valuation that wasn't the actual revenue streams or the actual assets, but they went and they saw the product being made. They saw the demand for the product. Ron Barron physically went and visited both factories, the one in Fremont and the one in Nevada. And there's videos of him walking around, the factories and studying what he was putting his money into. Now, where am I getting at with this? I have studied Bitcoin. I have played with Bitcoin. I have moved Bitcoin from Coinbase to Cash App, from Cash App to Coinbase, from Coinbase to hard wallet, from Trezor to other hard wallets, figured out how the network works on a sliding scale where you can pay the network more money if you want to move your Bitcoin fast. You can pay it less money if you want your Bitcoin to move slower through the network and you don't care about how long it takes to get to the next wallet. The system is extremely elegant. Is it perfect? For what it's used for, it's close. It's pretty close. The aspect of crypto being so new, there needs to be one crypto for long-term storage of capital that you can trust to be the kind of gold of cryptocurrency or the precious metals of cryptocurrency, which it looks like Bitcoin doesn't really have any competition on that level. And you need another crypto that can be easy to transact. Now, maybe that's fiat. Maybe fiat stays in the picture and Bitcoin just is the only major cryptocurrency, and then you sell some of your crypto to get into whatever fiat you want to be into. And that is how you transact on your day-to-day barter. But I just don't see a need for these thousands of altcoins. And a lot of people in crypto might not like that. A lot of people like it that I'm bullish on Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space, and I'm bullish on precious metals as well. And we're going to get into silver, guys. We're going to get into silver. But there is no need for these thousands and thousands of coins. Realistically, you only need like 3. You only need Bitcoin for long-term storage, Ethereum if you want to be able to deploy smart contracts and have programmable money, and a Litecoin to do quick transactions. So you really don't need this huge amount of altcoins. And on a day like this, when I see the altcoins really getting hit hard, I think to myself, well, it's like I've made this analogy in the past. If I'm riding a bicycle, I'm not going to trade my bike to ride a skateboard. I'm not going to just think that a skateboard is going to go faster than my bike. And if I'm driving in a car, I'm not going to trade my car to take a bike to Vegas. If I have to choose between the two, and I'm like, okay, how do I get to Vegas? Okay, well, I could choose the car or the bike. Well, I'm going to go with the car. It's better. So it's basically the same thing. Am I going to go with Bitcoin or Dogecoin? Yeah, I'm probably going to take the car. I'll take Bitcoin. That's fine. You guys can stick with the skateboards and the rollerblades, and I'll get the car to go to Vegas. That's fine. If I see a plane fly overhead, I'm going to go, well, I'm going on the plane. That's way better than the bike or the car. So I'm going to get on the plane. But for right now, there is no competition for Bitcoin for what I look at, what's going on with it. And is it perfect for buying your coffee? No, it's not. And so that's its flaw. Is there another crypto that might do that better? Probably Litecoin, maybe Ethereum. But for right now, the only one I'm interested in parking capital in is Bitcoin. And so back to do I care about a 10% drop in Bitcoin? No. I plan to hold my Bitcoin for a very long time. I love the system. I think it is very, very beautiful and elegant. The way that you can store your capital and be your own reserve bank on these hard wallets. And by the way, the only reason I haven't made that hard wallet video I've been talking about is because I'm testing them all out. Kobo wallet is sending me one of those Kobo Pros or something. And so I'm going to test out that wallet. And so far I've been testing out the Kobo Essential. It's a pretty impressive piece of hardware. It's very well designed. And so is the Trezor's a pretty good wallet as well. I wasn't a fan of the Ledger, but I want to test all these things out. And just like Ron Barron walked the factory floor in Tesla, I want to essentially walk the factory floor of Bitcoin. I want to actually test out this product. Okay, well, I have this much in a hard wallet. Interesting. Okay, how much does it cost me to move it from this hard wallet to this one? All those little finite details, you can tell me personally, the way I learn, you can tell me, hey, the fire's hot. The fire's hot over there. Don't touch the fire, Rob. I'm going to be the kid that's like, ow, okay, yeah, it's hot. That's just how I learn. So I wanted to actually play with this and learn it. And the more I do tinker with these hard wallets and, learn about Bitcoin, actually physically work with these devices, it becomes more and more elegant to me. And so I'm actually, when I see a day like this, or a few days like this that'll pull back. I mean, it could pull back to 30,000 and I'd still be holding my position and I still wouldn't lose any sleep. And I mean, I'm talking my net worth might be jumping 25,000, let's say. It might be jumping just very, so some people that's not a big fluctuation. To some people that is a crazy fluctuation. But if I have friends that have messaged me on like Instagram and Facebook and whatnot and go, dude, I just lost, $50,000. And you only lose if you sold. Just like you only win if you sold, you only lose if you sold. And with Bitcoin, if you want to be one of those people that's capable of bragging and boasting and being like, I hate to be that guy, but I am, that guy, I'll own up to it. There's times when I go, hey, Peter Schiff was wrong. I've called Peter Schiff wrong when Bitcoin was 10,000, when Bitcoin was 13,000, when Bitcoin was 17,000, and all of those videos, including one where he commented on one of them. And he said, I hope your channel ends up doing better than Bitcoin does. It's like, well, they both did all right. Things are going all right, Peter. But if you want to be one of the people that can brag about something, well, you had to buy with conviction when other people are scared. Back when Bitcoin was, I remember back when I missed out a little bit when Bitcoin was 3,000 and everybody's looking at Bitcoin like, I don't know, this thing's probably going to be worthless soon. And then there were some people that really believed in Bitcoin. All of those people that back even when Bitcoin was almost 20,000 and had that major correction, those who held and bought with conviction with the idea of I'm going to hold this for a very long time, well, they're not losing any sleep right now. Just like I'm not losing any sleep right now on a dramatic fluctuation. If anything, I'd want some more. And I'm going to store it. And it's a skeptical position in my decentralized portfolio. And that's why I'm not diversified in all of these altcoins, because I've read the Bitcoin white paper, just like I've read the Dogecoin white paper. I've read the Bitcoin white paper, and it's pretty dang elegant. It's elegant. I like it. But that's my thoughts about a Bitcoin pullback right now. If this pulls back down to 30,000, 25,000, it would make my heart move a little bit, but I'd probably have more conviction. And that's the next thing I want to talk about in this live feed. And we will do some Q&As down here as well. I'm sure we'll have a lot of great questions and comments towards the end. Well, the next thing I want to talk about is conviction. When I'm talking about a 36-month timeline, like what am I investing in 2021? What's the best thing to be invested in 2021? Well, there is no better time than right now to be buying a conviction trade. And what's a conviction trade? In my mind, a conviction trade is when you are comfortable putting your net worth in one of those positions. If you really could buy something and put your net worth into it, that's a real conviction trade. Maybe you can lower that down to 80% or 50% of your net worth in a trade, or buying a certain thing, 50% of it. That's a conviction trade, and that's how you make the big money. If you want to make real big money, it's not about having 10 positions that you're hoping for a 10x return on and 9 of them go worthless, 1 of them makes money. It's not about that. If you want to make big money, you really think about what you're investing in and you go big into it. And you hold for a long time. Most of the money that's made on Wall Street, the people that really make millions and millions and millions of dollars, and in my life and in a lot of other investors' lives, is when you just sit on your hands and you don't get concerned with the day-to-day technical analysis of things. You just believe in your long-term thesis and you play it out. And if there was one time in my life that I wanted to be in serious conviction trades and outside of the stock market, it's right now. I don't want to be anywhere near the stock market. And when I heard about Coinbase doing an IPO, I don't want any money on Coinbase. If they're doing an IPO, the amount of regulation that's going to come down on Coinbase, I think that's such a money grab, and I think it's a sellout move. And I won't give any more business to them. I'll be on Gemini now. We're on a different, and I'm not sponsored by any of them, at least at this moment. I am open to it, but when I just want to tell my genuine feel on things, and I don't want to be on an exchange that's involved in an IPO. That just has a ton of regulations on it. And so I like the idea that Gemini keeps things a bit more confidential. There's a lot of different exchanges as well that are pretty good. But once you have your money in your own wallet, you are essentially a reserve bank. So you have full control of that asset, and you can send all of it. You can send a little bit of it. You don't have to ask anybody permission. You have it there and it's in your wallet. And so with an exchange, like recently I bought some Bitcoin with a debit card, or just was connected to my account, and you can only do 15,000 at a time. And then it has to hold it for over a week until you can send it out of there into a hard wallet. And then with Cash App, they have these regulations, where you can only take 5,000 out per week. Now, I happened to get lucky a while back, and I had a lot of Bitcoin in Cash App. Do you know how long it's taken me to get my Bitcoin out of Cash App? I mean, a long time, months. It's taken me months and months and months of taking out 5,000 a week, 5,000 a week, 5,000 a week, 5,000 a week. And it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable, the regulations that Jack Dorsey of Cash App has put into place. So is it an easy place to get a small amount of Bitcoin? Yes. However, if you were smart enough and lucky enough to get in Bitcoin back when it was in the thousands, when it was prior to 10,000, I happen to be one of the lucky few that's like, I'll buy some Bitcoin under 10,000. Why not? And then that Bitcoin skyrocketed to being worth 50 grand. And so to that position ended up being worth a lot of money. So although you might think right now, oh yeah, I can put 2,000 in and they allow me to take out 5,000 a week. Well, if it goes up and you're in the same position that I'm in, well, then it's very, very hard to get that money out. And they have limitations on how much you can take out of Cash App, which I don't appreciate. And the reason for that is so that they can use your money against you, just like a bank does. If you give your bank 100 grand, they don't put that 100 grand in a vault somewhere. They're playing with it. They go, oh, thank you. We can go play with this now. Thanks. We'll give you a digital number on a screen that's not backed to any blockchain or anything. Thanks for the free loan. When you give a bank your money, you're just giving them a free loan, essentially. That's what's happening in that situation. And with Cash App, they want you to hold they want to hold your Bitcoin so that they can leverage it and they can show how much Bitcoin their company's holding. And they put these regulations in play on you. And I'm sure a lot of people in the live feed, you know what I'm talking about, where they have these regulations on how to get the Bitcoin out of Cash App, or how much you can send to somebody of Bitcoin. They have more regulation on not selling the Bitcoin, but taking the actual Bitcoins out of Cash App and moving it into a hard wallet. Because Cash App knows they don't make money off you having your money in a hard wallet. And then when you move your Bitcoin out of a hard wallet, you're paying the network. You're paying the decentralized network of miners to move your Bitcoin. You're not paying Cash App. You're not paying PayPal. You're not paying Coinbase. You're not paying Gemini. You're paying the decentralized network of miners around the world to move your Bitcoin at whatever sliding scale that you want to move your Bitcoin at, however fast you want to move your Bitcoin within that network. So as soon as you take your Bitcoin out of the system and onto a hard wallet, you are a bank, legitimately. Like you're an actual reserve bank where you have full control of the asset, and that's a very elegant thing. The only other time that you can be such a powerful bank like that, and you can move your capital around the world that easily, there isn't anything else like that. There isn't anything else like that. When you hold your physical silver, when you have your physical silver and if you have your physical gold, you're in a position there where you actually have the tangible asset and you have control of that money physically. And that's a beautiful thing. And I am my biggest position is silver. Where all of my money is, the biggest majority of it is silver, platinum, and Bitcoin. Those are my top 3 holdings, and they have all been crushing it over the past year. And so that's where I park my capital, and there's a place for all of them. There's a place for silver. It's an industrial metal, and it's very much so needed, especially in the day and age that we're in right now of electric cars and just all these electric devices that silver needs, that they need silver to produce. So you have the solar panels, which are using quite a bit of silver. You have the electric cars using quite a bit of silver, and all the devices, the computer you're watching this on, the phone you might be watching this on, a lot of silver is being used as I'm making this video right now. So I believe in silver, and I always will be able to buy silver with conviction. And so my overall summary of what I'm talking about right now is I don't lose sleep when I have my net worth in these 3 places. And gold is in there as well. It's on number 4. But I don't think it's going to perform as well as the others. I think silver, platinum, Bitcoin are going to be the top performers of any asset. That's my genuine feel. And ironically enough, in 2020, I believe it was silver and Bitcoin were the top 2 performing assets. I believe Bitcoin was number 1 by a landslide, and then silver was number 2. And I would imagine in 2021, they're pretty close to that same stat, if not that same stat right now. So my net worth is in those three assets pretty much. So when I talk about putting my money in something in conviction, I have 0 Ethereum. I have 0 Litecoin. I have 0 Dogecoin. I have only Bitcoin. I have only silver, only platinum. I don't have copper or all these other holdings like that. I believe in my 3 trades. I've thought them through. I've done my research on them, and I am willing to park my assets there. And to anybody that thinks, oh, well, you're kind of crazy for being that intensified on your investments, I think it's crazy to hold dollars. I think it's crazy to want to hold an asset that is constantly depreciating in value. Why would I want to hold an inflationary asset when wages are deflationary? Why would I ever want to do that? Why would I want to work for money that they can print out of thin air? I would never want to do that. So for everybody that's very critical of Bitcoin, and there's a lot of people that are, on the same Peter Schiff side of the debate with Bitcoin, and I'm one of the precious metals guys that believes in Bitcoin. I think it is very elegant, and honestly, I hope that it does work. I hope that Bitcoin succeeds. I really do. So as people feel a lot of pain in the altcoin world, I feel pain on a Bitcoin pullback, but not really, because I have a pretty great cost average on Bitcoin. I happen to get in early, but even if Bitcoin pulled beneath my current buy price, I'm not selling because I don't want to pay gains. I don't know if people understand this, but a capital gains tax is roughly 50%. So if you made 100,000, let's say, on Bitcoin, and you sell it, and you claim an $80,000 profit because you bought it at 20 grand and it went to 100 grand. Well, you claimed an $80,000 profit. You now have to give away 40 grand. So you walk away with 60,000 from putting in 20. So the capital gains is heavy. You might see 100 grand, but where somebody sees 100 grand, and I got in pretty early, so I see, I see much less than that. I see much less than that when I see 100 grand in a Bitcoin, but I know that in the future, if Bitcoin continues to get adopted, I'm going to be able to leverage against that asset. I understand how leveraging works. I understand. And this is videos I want to talk about in the future. I'm not going to talk about it too much in detail right now, but the wealthiest people in the world, and this is a shout out to Robert Kiyosaki. He helped change my life. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I was really down and out, and I was living out of the back of my car. It was one of the books that I kept with me. There was the Power of Now, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The 4 Agreements was another big one that I was reading. And then also How to Win Friends, Influence People was a great one. And there's a few books. There's like 5 books out there. And The Secret is huge. And so if you have a few of these books and you read them, they can really change your life. But back to Robert Kiyosaki, I think Robert Kiyosaki really nails it. And he's giving out real, genuine information. Obviously, he's promoting his book, and I'm telling people about his book right now, and I have no incentive to do that, but except for maybe one day I can talk with you, Rob. It would be, my name's Rob, you're Rob. We believe in the same things. I kind of look up to you quite a bit. There's not one thing I've heard from Robert Kiyosaki that I disagreed with him. But the thing he talks about is leveraging assets. And how debt can be a good thing, With Bitcoin, if your Bitcoin position, you got in early and Bitcoin goes to $1 million a Bitcoin or whatever we're valuing Bitcoin in at that point, you can then leverage, if you need money to operate, and to live your life, just like Elon Musk does with his Tesla shares. Elon Musk doesn't sell his Tesla shares. He leverages them to get capital against those shares. It's kind of a eureka moment. If you don't know about this, this is something to really look into. And if you want to join the wealthiest people in the world, this is information that, the general masses, they don't teach this in school. Schools want you to be a worker. So they don't teach this kind of stuff. They don't teach how to leverage assets. The richest people in the world own a city block in New York. They don't sell the city block. They make cash flow off the city block. It's like a moment when you realize it opens up your eyeballs to things. And so if your money is tied up in an asset and that asset has gone up tremendously, the wealthy people know, well, if I sell this asset, I have to pay capital gains. So I got to at least hold it over a year. And if I sell this property, I have the 1031 exchange. So how did Donald Trump not pay taxes? Well, he had the 1031 exchange. It's very clear in the tax code. The 1031 exchange means if you bought a property for $1 million, you sell it for $10 million, you have a $9 million profit, but you bought an $11 million property with the money, you pay no taxes. It's that simple. They leverage that asset to buy more assets. and they leverage that asset to get cash flow off of it, but they never sell the asset. And if they sell the asset, they only sell it to tie up that capital in another asset, you know? And so Bitcoin is very unique because you can store your capital and be a bank with having there's no custodian to pay. There's no inflation rate. It is deflationary. It is the only asset, as far as I know of, that's deflationary. And you can actually have full access to all of your funds at any given time right there on a hard wallet and have your money stored there with no inflation to it, no custodian fees, nobody having to store it. And you can memorize your key codes and store your money essentially in your head. So the logic behind Bitcoin, the way that it operates, the fact that it is not just a white paper and you can actually use it, and I have been using it and learning how to use it, it's so elegant. Like, I don't even have words to describe it. It's like, did aliens drop this technology down? Like, how did this happen? Because this is crazy. The fact that this has been around for 13 years, it's elegant. It's extremely elegant. And I can tell you exactly how much Bitcoin is out there, how much is moved every day, but I can't tell you how many dollars are out there to the penny. Powell can't even tell you that. No economist, Yellen, none of them can tell you how many dollars are out there to the penny. It's just ridiculous. It's a big balloon of nothingness. You know, it's like, oh yeah, like, you don't fix things by free stuff. The more free stuff you give out or you take, there's always a trade-off. Never expect free stuff in this world. That's why, you know, one of the things I talk about, some people, like, you can, with a monetized YouTube account, for example, I'm a monetized YouTube account. So there's ads on my videos and I make a revenue stream from that. There'll be people that complain and go, oh, you turn off ads for me, you know, turn off ads, turn off the monetization. Well, if you do that, then you're basically saying, well, the more free stuff you give, capitalism, I'm a diehard capitalist. And so this is kind of a hard topic to talk about, you know, because a lot of people free stuff is an easy thing to sell. That's why all the politicians, they're all about, oh, I'm gonna give you free stuff and you free stuff and you free stuff, free. You know, if I was in charge of YouTube, and a lot of people might not like to hear this, but I would push people more to get the premium service, you know, because realistically, the amount of money people spend on college, like when someone complains about ads, it's like, man, how many coffees, how many Starbucks do you get a month? How many? And by the way, I guess I'm incentivized by the fact that I'm, you know, a YouTube partnered account. I have a monetized account, but I don't make anything off anybody getting a premium service. It doesn't change anything for me. So me pitching this, I don't have like an incentive to do this. I just really, really think it's worth the money. But how many coffees, if to everybody that complains about ads or something, how many coffees do you get a month? You know, do you get 6 coffees a month, 4 coffees a month? How many coffees is there? Okay, well, if this premium service is less than $20 a month and you don't have to deal with any ads, you don't have to is it worth the complaint, or is it just, you just get the premium service and be able to watch whatever you want, whenever you want, and never have to deal with ads, be able to put it in your phone in your pocket, go through different apps and it won't turn it off or anything? It's pretty worth it. It's pretty worth it. I mean, if all the people spending all of this money on college or even just coffees or whatever it is that you're spending your money on every month, it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. Just my personal opinion on that situation there. So I remember the first day I got the premium and I'm like, man, I can't believe I didn't have this. This is totally worth it. That's a point for a different video or something, but I think I've made a video on that in the past. But the main thing I wanted to talk about today was, how do I feel when this type of a fluctuation happens? When this type of a fluctuation happens, if anything, I want to buy more. If anything, I just have more conviction on my trade. I'm not afraid of it. Back to the Tesla talk, all the people that were, you know, mad about Tesla going from 300 to 250 or, you know, whatever was happening right there, if they had just been buying with conviction, you know, if it fell from 300 to say even 200, that's like a third of it, you know, dropped out. If 35% of it went down 35% in a day on Tesla, and there were some days where it had a crash like that in Tesla, did it matter? Because it ended up going to 4,000 relative to the stock split. Did it matter, or should he have just bought with conviction like Ron Barron did? And he probably hasn't even sold yet. He's probably still just holding. Same thing with Chamath Palihapitiya. Chamath probably sold that because that guy is just, his ROI is ridiculous. That guy's just never wrong for some reason. You know, not for some reason. He's a very intelligent cat. Chamath Palihapitiya, much respect to him. But it didn't matter about those little fluctuations. And everybody's like, oh, I wish I got in Tesla at 150 when it was 300. You know, and it's like, oh, I could have had 100% gain. And then there were people that were buying it consistently as much as they could when they could, because they believed in the future of Tesla and they believed there was a good product there. And they studied what was going on. And did it really matter about those fluctuations between 200 and 300? And that's a pretty big gap. That's a $100 gap between 300 and 200. And I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this wasn't very long ago when this was happening. You know, it didn't matter if you just bought with conviction, because they believed in what they were buying. They liked the stock. And they didn't like the stock temporarily. They liked the stock because they didn't want to pay capital gains on it, and they wanted to just hold it. The most money is made by sitting on your hands. And honestly, that's a real, I didn't know that information until I was maybe 26. So just like a year and a half ago, something like that. I didn't know how to leverage capital, and I'm still learning how to do that right now and build my credit lines up and all that stuff. But this is information that they don't teach in school. They don't have a class on leveraging capital. They don't have a class teaching you what a 1031 exchange is in real estate. They don't have these classes. I don't know. Well, I do know why, but you would think that somebody would start talking about this type of stuff in the college system or whatever, but they might have like one select course of something, but it's like this information is free on YouTube. You can literally watch Robert Kiyosaki talk about exactly this for free. For free. It's the craziest thing to me. It's worth hundreds of dollars a month to be able to sit here and watch Robert Kiyosaki. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy that the amount of information that is available out there for free. And so right now it's like, okay, well, if I was just starting out and I was worried about these fluctuations here and I just got stomped by altcoins or something, I had a bunch of doggy coin at 8 cents or something and it lost half its value. I put $2,000 in doggy coin. I got $1,000 left. Personally, if I was in that position, just speaking on my opinion, not to be taken as advice, I would sell out and just make sure I bought a bunch of books and just started studying right now. That's what I would be doing. I wouldn't be taking these big time gambles on altcoins and stuff if I was in that position. I'm in a position right now where I want to just hold my capital in certain places. You know, why has inventory not been updated on my website? Because I want to hold it. I like my inventory. You know, I like what I'm holding. You know, so I'm not in a rush to sell because I actually believe in what I'm selling. You know, there's times like that when you have to hold something with conviction. I'm also doing a lot of restructuring in my company right now, but I'm not stressed about silver going from 30 to 28, even to 25. I wouldn't be stressed about it. I would be buying more because there's a limited amount of it and it's a needed commodity. It is a needed thing in the world. It is an industrial metal, then probably the most industrial of the metals. You know, I think I can confidently say it's the most industrial of the precious metals. In the amount that's used, I think that platinum is used like 90% towards industry, so it's more on a percentage basis, but in the quantity, I think there's nothing that comes close to silver that's needed in an industrial purpose that's also a precious metal. So I am very, very big on silver, and I'm still, if it fell to 25, so let's just really put a margin in there. If it fell to 24, 22, I've made videos on this in the past, ironically with the same thumbnail that I used for this video. It was saved in my thing, and so you can go back to my old videos and see me talking about people were when silver crashed from, I think it was like 26 to 22 or 21. That's when I was doubling down then. And I have the videos up to prove that. And so if silver fell from 28 and change down to 26 right now, where is it at? 20? And I think it's already recovered. So I'm kind of just, I'm not really talking about anything anymore because it's recovering already. But where is silver right now? Yeah, it's already recovering. It's already back up to almost 28. So this is really just about Bitcoin at this point. But the same rules apply, where I would just be consistently buying and I'd be holding and I'd have a long-term thesis for the metal. And I really do believe in silver quite a bit. And I can buy that with conviction. And what's the difference between me going, you know, big into silver versus somebody that might want to take a gambling play and buy something like an altcoin and hope for a 10x return on it? Well, they're not willing to put nearly the same amount of capital on that trade. And if they are, they're not going to have that money for very long. Anybody that's self-made and has built up some capital, they're going to be very nervous to park a large majority of their net worth that they work so hard for into something that is so risky, you know? But if you can buy something with conviction, me buying, let's say I buy $1 million in silver. Would I park $1 million in silver? Absolutely. Absolutely. Would I park $1 million in an altcoin? No. Would I park 1,000 in an altcoin just to be funny about it? Maybe just go, whatever, throw 1,000 in there. But I put it in there expecting to lose it. But I wouldn't hold that position with conviction. And so what's the difference between someone putting $1,000 on a GameStop or an altcoin or a very risky trade? They might turn it 10x. Shoot, they might even turn it 20x. So they might make 10 grand or 20 grand off that 1,000. But who made more? The guy who put $1 million in silver and then silver doubled just one time, 1x? That person made $1 million. Now, granted, he needed $1 million, but if I had $1 million, I wouldn't be willing to put it into a risky trade like that. So that's what I mean when I say about buying something with conviction. And I've talked about that now at least 10 times on the channel. So I don't mean to be repetitive, but it's very true for a time like this. The most money is made by sitting on your hands and buying something with conviction that you genuinely have studied and developed a thesis about it. For me personally, it is silver, platinum, Bitcoin. And if anything, I want more. I want more. So I'm not in a position right now where I get worried about a 10% fluctuation. And I got a lot of messages. Hey, what should I do right now with Bitcoin? What should I do? Either you believe in it or you don't. Either you want a quick buck or you don't. You have to decide where you stand on that. For me personally, I don't want to pay a gains. I don't want a capital gains. I want to continuously buy Bitcoin and hold it for the long term, just like Michael Saylor. And by the way, study what somebody said in the past. Don't just watch somebody's current videos on YouTube. Study videos from 5 years ago. Anybody that's just starting to watch Michael Saylor, who's somebody I idolize, I think he's a great guy, watch his videos from 5 years ago, from 10 years ago. He's talking about Apple. Oh, Apple's about to take over. Yeah, absolutely. Apple's going to take over. It's just like home run. It's like, okay, that happened. Okay, that happened. That definitely happened. Look at a guy like Raoul Paul. Look at the returns and how correct these individuals were over time. Don't just look at their current video. Look at their old stuff. Watch Elon Musk speak 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Watch Chamath Palihapitiya speak 5 years ago, 10 years ago. He was talking about Bitcoin back when it was in the hundreds on CNBC and they were laughing at him. And he's like, no, I think it's something big. And I think Bitcoin was like 900 at the time. And there's a video of him talking about it, him talking about Tesla, all of these things. And nobody gives credit for the past. They only watch that current present thing and they care about that technical analysis of where something's moving in that near term. And that's not what matters. What matters is the long-term ROI and how consistent somebody is. So watch somebody's old videos. If they're in the precious metals industry here on YouTube, watch their old videos. Not just the current ones, watch the old ones and see what they were doing, including myself. Go watch a video of mine when I was first starting out here on YouTube. Watch my videos from, way back when, and that's how you can develop your thesis. And that's how you can really, find out who I want to listen to, who I don't want to listen to. And with Michael Saylor, he's talking about holding this Bitcoin as an asset for the long term and then leveraging against that asset. And a lot of people might not understand that. They might not understand what that means, getting a line of credit against your Bitcoin. Some people, the best thing I could tell you on that perspective is research a 1031 exchange and research Robert Kiyosaki's book. Buy Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You'll learn all about what I'm talking about right now. But that's a very long talk about how you can leverage against an asset and how valuable that really is when it comes to, holding your gains and not having to pay taxes on your gains. With that being said, let's go to some comments over here. I'm going to get to some comments. So what's Max Kaiser's woman's name, Smarty? Are you talking to me? Or his girlfriend's name, I believe, is, wow, it's funny. I don't have it off the top of my head right now. I think it's, I love listening to her speak too. Is it Tracy? I'd have to double check. But I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Max Kaiser's wife. I actually don't remember her name, but she's a very, very sharp woman, and Max Kaiser picked a good one. I know that much. I know it'll come to me. It'll come to me. Sometimes I have a brain fart. Stacy. I said Tracy, Stacy. I was close. He's going to find all these crazy comments. I know people like Dogecoin. They like Dogecoin. They like GameStop. It's like, you guys, there's something to be said about knowing when you've won. In the beginning of GameStop, you guys won. It's over. It's over. You know, you won. And now you have all of them looking at you. It's like you go up to a professional MMA fighter. Yeah, you can probably cheap shot him. And I'm not calling it a cheap shot. It was brilliant what happened. I'm just using this as an analogy. You crack, you know, Khabib. You know, you might get the one in. Then he's looking at you. You don't want to keep rolling with Khabib. You know, it's like a professional poker player. You might get an all-in situation where you win against a pro. Are you going to want to continuously play them in heads-up poker? It's not a good strategy. They're watching. They're making more money than ever on GameStop right now. I'm sure they're making fortunes off of GameStop right now, the hedge funds. But you caught them in the beginning, and bravo to you for that. But a lot of people don't like me talking like that, but it's over, you know? And anybody that's still holding it is really just doing it to make a statement or something along those lines. Chief Key, so appreciate the $25, man. He says, you've been super informative as usual. I'll be becoming a customer very soon. These Bitcoin fluctuations will mean nothing when you look back at a year out, 5 years out, etc. Know what you hold. Well said, Chief Key, and I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. And honestly, it hypes me up when these videos actually help people, because this is information that I wish I knew. I wish somebody told me this. To anybody that's in the crowd that's like in their early 20s or even their 30s. Like, I mean, I'm just learning stuff that I just never was taught. They never taught me this when I was, you know, dropping out of college, and I felt like a loser for dropping out of college. I mean, I felt like a complete failure when I did that. And I went to go wait tables. You know, I'm like, at least waiting tables makes me $4,000 a month. I'm making pretty good money as a waiter. You know, I make like $1,000 a week, and I work 5 days a week, and at least I got consistent money coming in. And going to college was a hope and a dream that I'll be able to make $50,000 or $60,000 a year in a cubicle or something. And I went, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. But I felt like a failure when I did that, especially when I was cleaning up people's dishes. It was no fun. But you learn a lot. You learn a lot from that, and it's like the pain you feel today is the strength you feel tomorrow. That saying, it's so true. You know, you might feel pain in the near term, but in the long term, you remember it. And for me, a lot of that pain came from options trading. And that might be why my nerves are a little bit fried when it comes to like a 10% fluctuation on my capital. I mean, granted, when silver pulled back, just for rough figures, if I was going to put a rough dollar figure on it, when silver pulled back like $1 or 60 cents or something like that, and then Bitcoin fell 10%, I probably lost 25 to 35,000 of my net worth or something like that. I would just put a random number somewhere in that range, but my nerves are fried. I don't feel anything. It doesn't bother me. I know that if I hold it in the long term, it's going to go up. And so I just consistently stick to my strategy. And so there's large fluctuations happening, even on small percentages because I have so much of my money concentrated in these places. I like my trade. I like my trades, you know. And when I say trades, maybe I should say holds. I like my holds. I want my position for more than a year. I want the positions that I'm buying for more than a year. Not just because I'm buying them with conviction and I believe in them. That's the first point. But also because I don't want to pay capital gains taxes. I want them over a year. Minimum. Because then my tax rate changes on it dramatically. So yeah, I want a position over a year. And ironically enough, they made the capital gains rules so that people keep their money in the stock market. And then Yellen is coming out publicly multiple times saying, we want to do gains taxes even if you haven't declared the gain. It's like, well, then why would anybody leave their money in the stock market over a year? Why would anybody want to tie their money up in an IRA? Why would anybody want to tie their money up in a 401k? They're going to have to pay profits while it's going up. What, every year you want them to pay 50% like of their profits out of their 401ks? Like, how exactly are you going to work this, Yellen? Because you're an economist, right? You're an economist. You're mainly, you know, this woman couldn't be a manager for a bingo hall. Couldn't be a manager for a bingo hall, the woman. Corrupted, man. Dude, you're such a cool dude, man. I mean, in the last video, you hooked me up with like $200, and you just hooked me up with $50 right now. Corrupted, thank you, man. Honestly, thank you. He goes, we literally agree on just about everything you've said, except I'm Bitcoin and stocks, then PMs. But Raoul Paul Saylor, way back when, not just now. Chamath is my absolute legendary favorite, etc. You absolutely get it, man. Where is your company located? I'm kind of near the Los Angeles area in California, Southern California, corrupted, which might be changing soon. Just letting you know, it might be changing soon. I'm actually looking at a few properties in a different state right now, and I might be getting into my first real estate investment soon here. And that's why I'm talking about credit and talking about all that stuff. To the people, there were some people in the comments that are like, oh, credit sucks, this and that. You got to learn how credit works. You got to learn how credit works. You know, if you just believe in a credit card to buy your, Gucci belts or whatever, then no, it's not a good idea. But if you know how to leverage your credit to produce cash flow, it can be such a beautiful thing. It can be such a beautiful thing, and you need good credit. If I had known these things back when I was 18, and that's part of why I make these videos, you have to be willing to risk being embarrassed to make videos like this, especially a live stream video, because you're just on the spot. And, there isn't any editing going on. There isn't any, okay, that sounds good, that doesn't sound good. You just have to point and shoot and talk. And this is information I wish I knew when I was 18. When I was like just a younger kid, even when I was like 16, 17, I wish I knew this information, because I would have got a credit card the day I could have and made sure I paid it off every month, and then used 33% of it and made sure that I was building my credit up from a very young age. If to anybody that's 18, yes, credit matters a lot. Learn how credit works. Go on YouTube and look up how to build credit and just study that. Whatever homework you got, and not to be taken as advice, whatever homework you got, crumple it up, throw it in a corner, and start studying how credit works on YouTube. Crumple it up, throw it in a corner, and start studying how to code a website. Crumple it up, throw it in a corner, and look up how to form an LLC. What's an LLC? What's an S Corp? All these different things. Those are the things you should be doing right now, especially if you have downtime and your colleges are shut down. It's like, well, study on YouTube for free. You can listen to guys. You know how much Chamath Palihapitiya would charge to do a lecture? Do you have any idea how much it would cost to listen to Michael Saylor or Chamath Palihapitiya, these billionaires, do lectures, and you get it for free? Like, how much money would it cost to listen to that Jordan Peterson? He's a great psychologist. Really, I really believe in the things that he preaches, and it costs thousands of dollars to listen to this guy. Thousands and thousands of dollars to be in a seminar with him. But you can go to YouTube for free and just watch him all day. Like, the power behind that, the knowledge that we have with YouTube is unbelievable, and I'm so happy that I get to be part of it. It brings me joy that I can do these live streams and I can actually talk with everybody like this, because not only am I able to tell you stuff that I wish I knew about when I was younger, but I'm also learning with you guys as well. People bring up points that I wasn't thinking about myself, and that's how we learn. If you want to be able to get good at something, you have to be willing to subject yourself to being embarrassed. You have to put yourself on the spot. Just like, say you want to learn how to surf. Well, day one, the waves are going to crash on you. You're going to look like a kook out there, and everybody's going to make fun of you, but you're never going to get good at surfing until you keep going. That's how it works. And so for me, with these live streams and stuff, I'm just going to put myself out there because I'm really excited to be able to be part of this community. And it's just been something that's just extremely rewarding. And I appreciate everybody that's in the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. But let's get some more comments. Corrupted, honestly, man, I'm humbled by the amount of money you've given me. I really appreciate that. Corrupted, thank you. And you notice in the comments, there's guys out there that'll be talking bad, or they want to say some comment where they're trying to bash on whoever it is, whether it's somebody else in the comments or towards me. Majority's probably towards me. There's a lot of subject matter. I'll give it to you. There's a lot of subject matter to make fun of me on, but I let it fly. I don't have any moderator in here. I don't care about silencing anybody. They can say whatever they want. I don't mind. And that's how we all learn. So it's fine by me. Mr. T says, Sultan, breaking news, Kansas bill would make gold and silver legal tender in the states? I believe Utah allows you to pay your taxes in gold and silver right now. So that's very interesting. If you didn't know that, Utah is one of the few states that allows you to pay for your taxes in metals. Can we talk Elon? I think Elon is a ultimate meme lord. I think he is the ultimate troll. I think he's having fun with all of this. I think he genuinely doesn't care about money. I think he really is like that, and he's just having fun with it. So when he's talking about doggy coin, he doesn't have any like incentive to do it, I don't think. I think he's just doing it because he finds it to be funny. And so that is his. You got to remember, if you want to be in a position like a Steve Jobs or an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos, you're going to be a weird person. Like, you're not going to be, you don't wear, these guys are guys that are, if the world was gray, they'd be running around in pink and yellow. You know, that's who these guys are. That's who Elon Musk is. That's who Jeff Bezos is. They'd be the guys running around in pink, yellow, and blue if the world is gray. You know, they just are that way. And so you can't really put your finger down on why Elon Musk does the things that he does. Like, why would anybody put 1.5 billion into Bitcoin and then say, oh, I think it's overvalued? It's like, what? It's like, why would anybody say they think their stock is overvalued? Maybe if their incentive is that they think really it's undervalued and they want more shares, or they want more Bitcoin, you know, they want you to sell your Bitcoin so they can accumulate more with their treasury when they realize just how special it is. You know, there's a lot of different angles on why he's doing this, but Elon Musk is just one it's like a Rubik's Cube of a human, you know? He's a very complex Rubik's Cube of a human. He's hard to figure out. You know, that's how I feel about him. It's like, what in the world? You buy 1.5 billion, 2 weeks later say it's overvalued. It's like, what? Like, a week later, he's like, what's going on here, Elon? Like, what's going on? You make no sense. So yeah, I mean, it's all about, to me, it's about studying for yourself. Nobody, a real successful person that I considered a mentor, and I still do consider a mentor, told me this a while back. And he goes, Rob, you know, this is going to sound bad. You know, it's going to sound like, you know, the world is a mean place. But he's like, people don't want you to succeed. People don't want you to succeed. They don't want to hear that you're doing better than them. You know, they don't want to hear, oh, look how much better you're doing than me. You know, naturally humans, they don't feel that way. You know, they want to see you do well, but they don't want to see you do better than them. And so you have to, what do I mean by that? You have to study for yourself. Don't take anyone's advice. Make up your own decisions. Listen to the things that I'm saying, and you could think in your mind, oh, I think he's full of it. I don't believe him. And you can make your own decision. Or you can listen to things that I'm saying, go, oh, I think I agree with that, and I agree with that, and I disagree with that. And I'd like to have a debate about this, you know? But you have to draw your own decisions and never come from a place where you think that, oh, this person is his word is everything. No, you need to decide for yourself. Take in all the information from all the different places and then make your educated thesis, your educated choice. That's what you should be doing, especially in a day and age like today. Take in as much information as possible and then think for yourself. And it's a lot easier said than done. But it's specifically with Bitcoin, with silver. Like if Elon Musk tomorrow said, oh, silver's, you know, overvalued, I'm not buying any silver, you know, silver's overvalued, I'm not buying any silver. If Elon said that, I would be like, guys, I'm all in on silver. You know, like, he dropped it to 25, 24. Okay, guys, we're all in. Let's get as much money as possible into silver. You know, like I wouldn't change my perspective of it because I don't rely on what he says. Now I'm watching closely what he says, but it doesn't change my my perspective of it. But that's my little talk on Elon. Someone said talk about Elon. I think that, you know, he's somebody to listen to and make a educated decision off of those things and know that he's a jokester. Like, he likes jokes, he likes memes, he likes messing around, but he likes money too. But he's just very complex critter. Very complex critter, the guy. Like, it's not easy to put. He's very unpredictable. That's why he's not the CEO of his company, I don't believe. I think he just owns all the shares. So he's like, yeah, I'll step down as CEO, but I still own the company. So what are you guys going to do? I own 30% plus of the company. I don't care. Yeah, it's fine. I'll step down from CEO. I still own the company. But I think, someone had a super chat earlier, and I can't go all the way up in the things. He did a $10 super chat, and I missed that. I know I rambled too much and I missed it. I'm sorry about that. If I miss your comments, especially if I missed a super chat of yours, please shoot me a DM on Instagram. Anybody that shoots me a DM on Instagram, I'm getting back to every single message. I'm starting from the bottom up. So if I haven't gotten you to a recent one, it's because I'm starting from the bottom and going up, and there's like 100 and something left of them. So every day I try to knock out like 20 or 30 of them. So if I miss your comment, shoot me a DM on Instagram and I will get back to every single question, whether it's how to buy physical silver, where to buy physical silver, anything on Bitcoin, anything on Elon, anything I can do to help. Anything on Elon, like I know anything about Elon. I just know how I look at the things he says. But I'm here to help you. If you shoot me a DM on Instagram, it is me. It's not like some bot. It's not some, employee or something. At Rob Sultan on Instagram. Shoot me a DM there. Same name as here on YouTube. Shoot me a DM. If I miss your comment, shoot me a DM there and I will get back to you. Yeah, Rob, I sent you a yelling meme I made today. I think you'll like it. I'm looking forward to that, Dave George. I'm looking forward to that. Many of us try. Eric, I'm listening to you. Eric Hoffner, I am listening to you, and I agree with you. Many of us try to tell Rob he will not pump silver. You're probably right. You're probably right. The guy is, excuse me. I think a lot of people mistake Elon for like this ultimately nice guy. I think they mistake him that he's just, he's the nicest guy in the world. You do not get in the position that he's in without being some kind of savage. You don't get in that position. You have to have some part of you that is a savage that's able to, for example, buy out the original people that started Tesla. Like do things like that. He's capable of those kind of decision making, like just very, very, just savage decisions. He's very capable of that, of just making a split turn decision. Like, California's not working with us well and they're treating us wrong. We're gone. Bye. Period. No talk, no negotiations. We're out. No more. Bye. That takes a certain skill set and a certain kind of person to be able to do that. And it's a very valuable skill set, but that's what he has. So a lot of people mistake that he's just, they can talk down to me in California and the person in charge of things can just, say bad things about me publicly and whatnot. I'll take it. It's fine. Like, he's not like that. He's like, oh yeah, really? You said that? Okay, we're out. The whole company right now, we're gone, period. Capiche? That's who Elon Musk is. So not exactly the nicest guy in the world like people think. He's good intentioned. I can't think of a better human to be the wealthiest person in the world right now in this day and age. Like, the things he's doing is, the amount of people that die in auto accidents, for example, is a staggering number. I believe might be more than the amount the virus has taken out in the country in auto accidents per year. So if you come out with a technology where cars kind of repel against each other like magnets, so they can't crash in a way, or they have a very hard time crashing, that's going to save a lot of lives. It's going to be a very beautiful technology. So it's not about just being, green friendly or whatever, these cars and electric cars and all of that, but it's also the fact that it's, coming out with technologies that are better than the ones before. Coming out with a plane when all you have is cars. Coming out with cars when all you have is bicycles. It's like the evolutionary steps of technology. Elon Musk is a major contributor to that. And those cars they're epic. I can't wait till I can get a Tesla. I'm actually working on getting one pretty soon here. I think that if every car had that technology, there'd be like dramatically less car accidents, dramatically less. And then all of our tax money, for example, in California, Gavin, if all of our tax money in California actually fixed the roads and they could implement straight, painted lines that these cars can actually pick up on with the AI systems of the cars, that'd be nice. Roads without potholes in downtown LA, that'd be nice. Gavin, pay more taxes than any state in the entire country, and they can't even fix the potholes in the streets. It's ridiculous. So Tesla up in the after hours. Let's take a look at that actually. Yeah, look at silver's already recovered back up to 28. Platinum back up to 1257. I mean, people were messaging me, well, you think silver's crashing, you think platinum's crashing. It's like, no, I don't. I think the dollar's going to crash. You know, my thesis doesn't change, and I'm not distracted by anybody telling me that. I mean, back when I was first investing in Tesla, you know how many people said I was foolish for that? There were a ton of people saying I was foolish. There was people saying I was foolish in my business that were other dealers that said, oh, why would you ever buy Bitcoin at 8,000? That's crazy. Why would you ever buy that? It's worthless. Well, you know, even on a pullback like this, if you got in at 8,000, you're not really feeling too much pain, you know? So don't let other people make decisions for you. I think the way that Steve Jobs said it is like, don't let dogma distract you. And dogma is, you know, the power of others people's thinking. You know, you got to think for yourself in this world. You got to think for yourself in this world. Yeah, Tesla is up a bit. I mean, it's still down quite a bit. It was under 700. Now it's back up to 716 in the after hours. I mean, realistically, I think Tesla's heavily overvalued right now. I mean, it's valued in dollars. So there's that, but it's just such a crazy time in the stock market. And that's probably where I want to end this live feed. The correction in crypto is, in my opinion, nothing like what could happen in the stock market and what's already happening in the stock market right now. And I've talked about this in the past, and so I don't mean to be repetitive. I wanted to talk specifically about this correction here in Bitcoin. I want to do a live stream on this. Everybody that's been in the live stream, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do click the red subscribe down below and the bell afterwards. You'll be notified of all future videos. If you click you click the subscribe, then you click the bell, and then it'll like say all notifications. If you click all notifications, you'll be notified of all future videos on this channel. It's totally free to subscribe. Would love to have you as a subscriber, and it really does help grow the community here. I talk all about decentralized assets and my investments here. That's my whole plan. When I talk about, on my header, it says, let's talk money and stuff. And that's pretty much what this channel is about, money and stuff. And I'm kind of growing with you all. You're kind of on the journey with me. Not very long ago, I just had a couple thousand subscribers. And so the channel's really blown up. And I really owe all of you for that. So everybody that's been clicking the like, everybody that's been subscribing, you really have helped me quite a bit. And I really do appreciate you a lot. The last thing I want to talk about in this live stream is the stock market. And so somebody brought up Tesla stock, and I am, you know, a big Tesla fan. I actually want, my next car is going to be a Tesla. I'm looking at used Model S's right now, a P100D Model S. That's my next car. And so I love the technology. I love the company. I think they're revolutionary. I think they have a business model that's vertically integrated, and I think they have no competition. When they say there's competition, it's like, where are they going to get their batteries from? They might end up buying their batteries from Tesla. You know, who has the Gigafactory? It's the biggest battery factory in the entire world. They have multiple Gigafactories now. So it's like they've put themselves in a position where nobody can really compete with them. And if they're smart, they're going to buy the batteries off of them. If anything, you know, if you're Porsche, they might be able to produce a couple cars that are better, but they're not going to be able to produce them in bulk. And where they can get their batteries if they do that? You know, they're going to probably have to go to Tesla to buy their battery packs. So they're focusing on being vertically integrated, which is brilliant. But all of that being said, I think they're wildly overvalued. I think the entire stock market is overvalued, and I think it's valued in a diluted currency. You know, it's not valued in gold. It's not valued in Bitcoin. Now, MicroStrategy and, you know, and Tesla has a bit of Bitcoin now, so they're converting their balance sheets a bit. And that's why I believe in these companies buying a lot of physical silver behind the scenes. But I'm not putting any money in the stock market. The only thing I'm interested in the stock market right now is PSLV. That's the only thing I'm looking at, and I'm just mad that I can't buy like a long-term option on it. I wanted a 3-year expiration call option on a silver trade, and then I'd sell some of my physical silver and then have a leverage position within the next 3-year period on silver. That was one of my ideas, but the only thing I can do is use margin to buy more of it. Which probably is a testament to how legitimate PSLV is, because you can buy whatever option you want on SLV. So that's kind of wild. But you can't buy it in PSLV for some reason. They're not allowing me to do any options on PSLV. I would imagine they just don't want to be part of options chains. I wanted a 3-year expiration with like a close to the money strike price on a call option. If anybody knows call options in here, that's probably what I was looking for. First Majestic is something I'm looking at with a mining company. The only two stocks that I'm interested right now is First Majestic and PSLV. The reason for that is, you know, the mining stocks that are actually putting themselves in a good position and actually care about the legitimacy of the companies and whatnot. And they're not just, you know, all talk about, oh, we're going to find this stuff here and we know there's this much gold and silver here. You know, First Majestic CEO, I believe is Keith Newman, very sharp guy. And so if you're Elon Musk, if you're Tesla and you have a huge treasury, I mean, they could buy the entire mining company. Like if they have a deposit somewhere where there's some cobalt, there's silver, there's lithium, there's the materials they need, I would imagine Tesla making a smart decision to buy the entire mining company. And so that might be a big play there. Now you need to make sure your strike price, if you did a call option, is close to the money, because you can actually lose everything if they didn't sell it out the company and go private, you know, at a rate that's under your strike price. So that there's that kind of, that's a little bit more technical stuff. But with First Majestic, it would be I'd have my sights on it. If I was Elon Musk, I'd have my sights on that company. There's a sharp CEO that's in charge of it. They're relatively valued at a right price, I think, you know, so, I mean, and they're heavily shorted, you know, so that'd be fun for you, Elon. Don't you like sticking it to the shorts? You know, it's a heavily shorted company. Short interest is there. So, I mean, maybe just buy First Majestic. That would be a pretty strategic acquisition for Tesla. That would be like the only way I would be bullish on a mining stock right now is if there was an opportunity for them to get bought out by a larger tech company. And I think that possibility is very much so there. So that's a theory that I have in mind. But those are the two things I'm interested in the stock market. Other than that, I think everything is just highly overvalued and it's all valued in a diluted currency. And I think that it's only a matter of time before somebody exposes just how ridiculous the fiat currency structure is. You know, everybody that's so skeptical of Bitcoin, I have my own reasons on why I think Bitcoin does have intrinsic value. And I get people constantly telling me why I'm wrong about that. And I constantly get people telling me why I'm right about that. So it's very divided. That Bitcoin versus gold debate is never ending. It's just, it will always be perpetual. Even if Bitcoin, the gold bugs that are against Bitcoin in the thousands, you know, they're still out there more than ever at 50,000. You know, and they're busy boasting about how it fell from, you know, almost 60,000, 58,000 or whatever down to 50,000. And oh, we told you so. It pulled back. It's like, man, I'm still up like 5x, 6x. Like, what do you mean it's pulled back? But you're always going to have some big time people that are on both sides of the fence of an argument. And the best thing you can do is listen to both arguments and draw your own conclusion. After listening to both sides of it, and I come from the precious metals industry, so trust me, I heard the negative side of it, and I've heard a lot of the positive side of it, and I'm willing to park a large amount of my capital there. After thinking about it as much as I have, I'm willing to put a large amount of capital in Bitcoin. I think it's pretty brilliant. That's how I feel about that. I think it pulled back like 7 times last run. I'll get to a few more comments here. Let's stay live until we'll be live for an hour and 30 minutes or something. I want to keep these around an hour and 30 minutes. And right now we're at an hour and 12, hour 13. So let's keep it going. I'll get through some more comments here. Talk to us about the true meaning of the Wizard of Oz. E-man, I mean, you can say, I mean, what? Why platinum? I have a few reasons on why I'm bullish on platinum. The main thing for me is I think platinum is a monetary metal. Just point blank. Like that's how I feel about platinum. I feel platinum is a monetary metal. I think that Mike Maloney is wrong about saying it isn't a monetary metal because it's only been able to be refined over the last 300 years. But last time I checked, when I look at a platinum eagle and I look at a gold eagle, one is denominated in $100 and one is denominated in $50. The gold eagle is $50 for an ounce of gold eagle, and an ounce of platinum eagle is $100 denomination. The reason for that is because the government knows the scarcity of platinum and that it can't, you can't come up with like a bunch of platinum overnight. It's extremely rare of a metal, and it's very, very hard to mine, very hard to refine it, and it's used in industry. And I don't buy the whole, oh, this metal is only good for catalytic converters and nothing else. We can't use the most noble of precious metals. We can't use it for anything else. It's like, really? Because actually there's 6 parts per billion in the Earth's crust of platinum. It's just really hard to get to, and it's really tough to mine and refine platinum. So there's actually more platinum in the world than gold. So you could use it as a monetary metal. It's very, very hard to fake platinum. It's a certain density. So when you have a 10-ounce platinum bar in your hand or a 1-ounce platinum bar, it's very obvious that you have platinum. It's extremely obvious. Obviously, you still test everything and you run it through the XRF machine, but if with the trained eye, it would be, I want to say it'd be impossible to fool me that something is real platinum if I can weigh it. If I have a scale and I can see the size and the density of it and I can actually weigh it, I would imagine I would 10 times out of 10 spot a fake platinum bar. Whereas if it's a tungsten filled gold bar, I have had some that have fooled me on the eye test, but you test every single thing and you XRF it, and there's some tungsten filled gold bars that are pretty good, especially when they are the bigger blocks of gold, like a 10-ounce block of gold or a kilo of gold. The thickness of it, they can get by with that, or put like a little tungsten into those. But platinum, I believe I don't buy the whole, oh, this is only used in catalytic converters. It's used in a lot more than catalytic converters, and it's used for a lot of industrial purposes. It is an industrial metal, but I also believe that just like silver and gold, it is a monetary metal. And if people want to counter my argument saying it is a monetary metal, well, I can show you a platinum eagle that is denominated in $100, double the price for the same weight of gold in the same from the same mint. So a gold eagle is $50. Platinum eagle is $100, and it's actually denominated in U.S. currency. So anybody that says it's not a monetary metal, it's like, well, you're wrong. Like, it's denominated in dollars on platinum eagle. So I believe that it is a monetary metal. So that's how I feel about it. And I believe that there's going to be far more uses for platinum in the near future. It's like, okay, what do they use it for with a catalytic converter? Well, it has a very high melting point, so it could withstand a lot of heat, and it helps clean the air. So it's like, you're not going to need something like that in the future, or if you're already using that in the future, I don't know. That's how I feel about platinum. I think it is a good metal. And if you do want, a metal that, the bullish case for gold is if we return to a gold standard, or if another fiat currency returns to a gold standard. So if one of the currencies has a gold-backed crypto and they decide, oh, our money's back to gold, well, then that skyrockets the price of gold. Now, is that possible? Sure, it's possible. Could they decide to overnight, come out with one of the currencies, maybe China, maybe us, whoever does it, would probably, and that's how we became. Literally, if you study the history books, the reason the dollar is the reserve currency of the world is because it used to be backed to gold. And then once they obtained the power of being the reserve currency of the world is when they dropped the gold standard in 1971. So how would you become the reserve currency of the world? Well, you would back your fake money to an asset of some kind, So there is that possibility for gold. Now, that being said, who has the most gold in the world? Where is the most gold in the world? Well, they have it. Central banks, they already have it. It's not like they don't have any. They have a lot of it, and it's in their vaults. How much do the king and queen, the queen, have over there in the UK? Like, they got a lot. They got a lot of gold. How much do we have in the US? We don't even know, but probably a lot. Like, how much do the Chinese have of gold? A lot. A lot of gold. So they have this metal, but with platinum, it's a very hard metal to corner. Like, it would be a very hard metal for any bank or any entity to corner because there's such a limited amount of platinum in the world, and it's an industrial metal. So if it's needed for something overnight, platinum could just skyrocket. Platinum. That's why I think platinum should be worth double the price of gold minimum. In my personal opinion, I genuinely feel that way. And right now, platinum is currently, up $18 right now. It's at $12.60. Look at the 6-month chart on platinum. That 6-month chart on platinum is pretty heavy. It was down in like 850 range, and it's up to 1,250 right now. So almost like a 50% jump in platinum over the last 6 months, roughly a 50% jump, somewhere between 40 and 50%. Pretty impressive gains on platinum. I don't see the same. The chart on gold on the 6 month is pretty rough. And the thing that bothers me the most about gold right now, and I still think gold goes up, just not in the same way that I think of silver and platinum. But what bothers me is if you went back 5 years from today, when I was, early in my business, and you came to me and you said, "Hey, Rob, the world's going to be shut down. The dollar's going to be printed more in 1 year than gold's entire market cap in the entire world." That right there, I'd stop you and be like, "You're crazy. What do you mean? 10 trillion in 1 year? They're going to print gold's entire market cap in 1 year?" Yeah. 5 years from now, Rob, it's going to happen. Right now, I know it's 2015 or 2016 right now. In 5 years, this is what's going to happen. In my mind, I would go, "Oh, well, so gold's 10,000 an ounce, right?" It would have to be if you're denominating it in dollars. Like if you've diluted the currency that much, and there's this much, fear and uncertainty, and doubt right now in the dollar, gold would have to be 10,000, right? And if you came to me and you're like, "No, actually for that whole 6 months, it actually kind of went down. It went up one time to like 2,100 and then it pulled back to 18. I'd be like, and they're printing more? Like they printed another 2 trillion, 3 trillion, and it's still going down and going side. Like what? That's bonkers to me. At least you're seeing silver and platinum going up, but those are industrial metals that are needed. Gold is money, period. There isn't really industrial use for gold. It's jewelry and money. And if you're using it in industrial purposes, you can use a much cheaper material. You don't need to use gold. There's other cheaper materials like silver that you could use. So it's like there really isn't an industrial use other than looking pretty and being like, "Oh, look at my gold watch," look at my money. And so if it doesn't get adopted, if a fiat currency doesn't back their money to the gold, well, they have the gold. So what then? That's why it is the 4th position in my decentralized portfolio. I believe right now, I'll point blank say I believe more in Bitcoin than gold. Now, I don't believe more in Bitcoin than silver right now. I have more silver, but I would rather have Bitcoin than gold personally. Maybe I don't make any sense, but for me personally, it's like I want to know that this metal isn't cornered yet, and I want it to be inevitable that it's going up. And with me personally, what I think about silver is I think inevitably it has to go up, in my personal opinion. With platinum, I think you can't mine it for this cheap, and there's such a limited amount of it out there. So I'll hold this too, So those are my reasons for holding those metals, and there's obviously a lot more than that, but it's just a little rant on gold. That's how I feel about it. If they were using gold in electric cars and stuff, and they were using it in a large way, people say, yeah, like one person says it's consumed. I don't think so. It's really not. It's used in jewelry. I would say roughly 10% of gold, maybe 5% of it is used in industry. So there's really no industrial use for gold. If I'm wrong about that, please do inform me that it is, there's some sort of need for it, but you can use silver for conductors, and so you don't need to use gold. Gold looks pretty. It's been money forever. So there's that. But if you want to hedge against inflation, silver's been money forever, just like gold's been money forever. So I would much, much rather have silver. It is 8 times more rare than gold above ground. There's 8 times more gold above ground than silver. And silver is used way more in industry. So if more people hold silver as a monetary metal, say the industry uses 70% of silver, and all of the silver mined, roughly half of it is already just eaten up by industry. So if the amount of people that store silver changes from 20 to 30% as a monetary metal. So you got to remember, so silver is used about 70% in industry and about 20, 30%, just somewhere in that sliding scale, let's say. So 70% roughly in industry, roughly 30% held as storage of wealth. So 30% monetary metal, 70% industrial metal. Now, what happens when 50% of that metal is eaten up every year? 50% of the metal that's mined every year gets eaten up automatically, and it's continuously getting eaten up from that supply, is going into the demand of it. And there's more and more and more demand as we go into a green age. Okay. Well, what would happen if the 30% changes to 60%? And 60% of the people, you want to talk about a short squeeze. He's like, what happens when 30% here of the float, let's say it was 100% float of silver, 70% of it's for industry, and 30% of it is for holding it as just money as bullion bars in your safe. Well, what happens if that changes and central banks and stuff start buying silver, and a lot of retail buys silver like they are right now? Well, then what happens when it changes to 60% held in vaults? Well, then they would have to, the price would have to go up. What would happen there? Well, the people that are holding the silver are going to say, hey, you guys are suppressing my silver and you're messing with the paper contracts, and that's cute, but I have the silver and you don't, and you need it. I want this much for it. So change the ticker price, or just slap this premium on it because I'm not willing to sell you my physical silver for your manipulated price. Sorry, Diamond. That's what my bull case is for silver. It's a lot more rare than gold, and it is a lot more needed than gold. Nobody can argue against that. So it goes back to that point of like, am I going to fly on an airplane or am I going to drive a car? Well, I'd probably like to go on the airplane. I like the airplane better. It's better, a better choice. So I'm going to go on the airplane and double down on that. Whereas with gold, you have 90% of it is held in vaults that aren't retail, and 10% of it is used mainly in like jewelry. Like, it's really not used in industry. So like they can say 20%, 10%, but realistically that industrial use case of gold is like a sliver compared to silver. So your bull case on gold is that more people want to use it as money because it's already money and it's already put in vaults. The sliding scale is far different than the sliding scale of silver. That's my logic behind it. And it's not easy, as you know, I'm a precious metals guy. I'm full-time precious metal. So I can operate my company only on selling silver. That's fine with me, but I'm still going to tell it. I'm going to tell the truth. That's probably bad for my business to say I don't believe in gold as much as silver, but that's how I feel. That's my genuine opinion on the matter. If I'm going to hold the two, it's silver every time. I don't even have to think twice about it. I wouldn't even think. It could just be like silver. I wouldn't even think twice about it if I had a choice between the two metals. And if I want to store a larger amount of my money in a smaller space, that's the argument for gold. I would rather have platinum. It's far more rare, far more owned. That's how I feel about it. Silver and platinum are the best metals to be in my opinion. Platinum is so undervalued for how rare it is. And think about it, just like I said with silver, with platinum, it's like 90% of it is used in industry and only 10% of it is used being held, but the market cap is in the billions, not the trillions. So silver is between 1 and 2 trillion of it in the world, and then gold is over 10 trillion of it in the world, or somewhere between 8 and like 11 trillion. But platinum is like less than like the thing is, the amount of platinum that's used in landfills right now is part of the 350 billion worth that's been mined. But I think the amount of platinum that's actually like in 999 form is in like the tens of billions. Like the platinum that's actually available and not used in something right now. Like, it's not in catalytic converters and it's not in different materials. It's like the platinum is so rare. If you want to talk about, okay, well, what happens when that 10% sliver of platinum that is held as a monetary metal? By the way, platinum eagles are a monetary metal. They're denominated in $100, Mike Maloney. I love you, man, but you're wrong. It is a monetary metal. It is denominated in money. So, I mean, it's like literally, it's not just like, it's like you could read the definition on it. It's like, yes, it's a monetary metal. Platinum eagles are denominated in dollars. So it's $100. So yes, it's a monetary metal. You can't say it isn't a monetary metal when it is it's like, what? But imagine that 10% sliver changes to 40%, 50%. But then what really is a crazy stat is when you realize, wait, well, to corner the platinum market, you're in the tens of billions. To buy a lot of platinum and store a lot of platinum, you're talking about a market cap that's in the tens of billions. And then you would be like the beginning of Bitcoin or something, because you'd have to start mining it. Ironically, there's more platinum in the Earth's crust, very little bit more, but it's just a lot harder to mine than gold. So the miners don't like going for platinum. The word platinum comes from platina, which is a Spanish term for platinum, which means little silver, because it was a nuisance. It was like a total nuisance to the Spaniards that they were mining, and they're like, what is this little metal that we can't get out of our other metals? Like we can't melt it down because they couldn't get to a 3,000 degree melting point. It was just an annoying nuisance of a metal. So they called it little silver, platina. And so you have the term platinum that came from that. But platinum is definitely a monetary metal, and it is extremely scarce, and it is just like GameStop, you know, was a very small micro cap that a lot of people were able to do something about. Platinum is kind of very similar. If there was a metal that was like that actually could be a monetary metal because there is enough to satisfy a demand, because there's actually more platinum in the Earth's crust than there is gold. There's 6 parts per billion platinum and 5 parts per billion gold, and 75 parts per billion silver. So there's more silver in the ground than platinum and gold, but above ground, silver is more rare than gold, and platinum is more rare than gold and silver. Far more rare than gold and silver, like a lot more rare, especially in bullion form. So I like stuff that's hard to get. You know, I like the metals that are hard to get. I like the ones that are not controlled by a big central bank. Like people tell me all the time, it's like, oh, well, the bull case for gold is the central banks are going to start buying gold. It's like, well, they already have it. What do you mean they're going to start buying it? They already have it. Oh, they're going to start buying more of it? Like they have a lot of it. It's like maybe they buy more, but they already have it. You know, they don't have platinum. They don't have silver in the same way they have gold. So I hold gold. It's the 4th position in my decentralized portfolio, but it's number 4 for a reason. I like Bitcoin more than gold. Well, I don't think I would have held more Bitcoin than gold if it wasn't for the fact that I got in Bitcoin so early and it raised in value in my portfolio and I never sold any of it, you know? So there's that. But where I am sitting now, I'm comfortable having more Bitcoin than gold. And I would rather buy another Bitcoin at 50,000 than a kilo of gold right now. That's not saying that I would rather have 2,000 ounces of silver or 1,500 ounces of silver, but between a kilo of gold and a full Bitcoin, I mean, obviously I'd want the extra 6 or 7,000 or 8, or is it 60,000 for a kilo right now? I would choose the Bitcoin over gold myself. What makes Bitcoin better than other cryptos? That's a long question, a long answer on that one, but it is the easiest summary I could say is that it's the only one that is very deflationary. It's the only one that is widely adopted and deflationary at the same time. So you can have one that's widely adopted, but all the coins are already produced and dispersed, which makes it hold like no network value of it. But it's the only one that doesn't inflate year over year and has like a huge blockchain network that's already established and already there and ready to operate. Just like I've talked about this in the past, where you're not going to convince a gold miner to start mining cobalt. You know, you're not going to convince a gold miner to change their operation to mine cobalt. They're going to want to mine gold because they make money in gold. Just like with Bitcoin, the miners aren't going to change from mining Bitcoin and helping be the network for Bitcoin because they want to be paid in Bitcoin. They want to get paid in the most valuable, widely adopted coin. You know, they want to mine the coin that is adopted by Cash App, that is adopted by PayPal, that institutions are piling billions of dollars into. They want to mine that coin. They don't want to mine Doggy Coin. They don't want to mine Ethereum. Well, maybe they want to mine Ethereum, but Bitcoin is the one they really want to mine. It's like the gold. It's like it's what they want to mine. Maybe we'll call it the platinum or the silver, but it's like, that's how I feel about Bitcoin. And the only reason why I am in Bitcoin. What are my thoughts on rhodium? I got a soft spot for rhodium, but I also feel a lot of pain because I did a deal for rhodium. I did like a 10-ounce rhodium deal back when rhodium was in the thousands, like the low thousands. And so there's part of me that's still like, I gave away $100-something thousand when I did that. And I sold it for like 12,000. Like, what in the world? What was I thinking? You know? But you can't get them all right. You can't get them all right. Rhodium is like the middle child of the metals community that's just overperforming, trying to get attention. Like, hey guys, I get used in screens. I get used in all kinds of stuff. How come nobody's talking about me? I'm $20,000 an ounce. Anybody going to talk about me or what? Mom, somebody, nobody wants to bring up rhodium, but yeah, rhodium is just overperforming everything and nobody's talking about it. But the thing is now it's like you can't have a fractional amount of rhodium, but unlike Bitcoin, like you can have people look at Bitcoin and go, oh, I can't afford a $50,000 Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin can be bought fractionally and not at a big premium for holding fractional Bitcoin. If you hold a fractional amount of rhodium, you might be paying double spot price. Like if you multiplied it out to what a full ounce of what a tenth of rhodium is, it might be $40,000, you know, like, so you're paying a huge premium to have a fractional amount of rhodium. So the idea of it right now is kind of, well, how many people can afford a $20,000 ounce of rhodium to buy it at a realistic level, instead of paying a huge premium on a fractional amount of rhodium. That's just all I can tell you as a precious metals dealer. It's just a very high price premium on the fractional amount of rhodium. But yeah, it's just overperforming everything. And, you know, if I had to choose between palladium, that's what I wanted to say about rhodium, but between palladium and platinum, I would choose platinum 100 times out of 100 times between those two metals, because palladium is a derivative of platinum, and platinum is, I mean, so heavily undervalued. So I would much rather have platinum. Ironically enough, platinum was money in Russia. I think the ruble, or I forget what their currency was at the time, but it was backed by platinum. You know, those platinum ballerina coins and stuff, like Russia actually considered platinum to be money. And that might have something to do with platinum going up as much as it did, because they had some comments about the dollar and whatnot recently. But yeah, platinum has been a monetary metal in the past. So Mike Maloney's argument, I made a video about that, and it's a very viewed video of mine, is the video I made why I disagree with Mike Maloney on platinum, and I had like 90 ounces of platinum or something on my desk here and showed the differences in platinum, and the densities of it and everything. So if you want to see what actual physical platinum looks like, I do have a video on that. If you go through my page, I have a video with well, not with Mike Maloney, but I was countering his arguments, and I still believe that. I think, and by the way, Mike Maloney's the man. I like Mike Maloney. He's a good guy, and he's a very sharp guy. And he recently, he actually takes on the same approach to Bitcoin as I do. And so, Max Kaiser, you let Mike Maloney on your show, man. I want to be on your show too, Max. I'm sorry that I didn't remember Stacy's name, but I remember now. But he's a wild one, and I like Max's style a lot. Max Kaiser's a cool cat. He's somebody I really look up to, and he's also in precious metals. He's also in silver and gold. So he believes in. I bet you he would believe more in silver than gold right now as well. If I sat down and talked with him, I'd love to pick his brain on that. Man, that'd be cool to be able to talk with him about that. If I ever get to a point on this YouTube channel, everybody that's watching my YouTube channel, everybody that has helped my channel grow, everybody that smashes the like button and subscribes and all of that, you're really helping me get to the potential of being able to talk with these individuals. And when I'm able to actually have an interview with these guys, I promise you, I want to ask them questions. Like the one thing with like Robert Kiyosaki, for example, everyone asks him the same questions, and he has the same response about how he, found his first gold coin in the 70s and was overseas, and then he talks about the same thing every time. And I want to pick their brains on things that they're not talking about yet, because I've watched all their videos. So there's questions I have that they haven't talked about yet. And I want to, like with Max Kaiser, I'd be like, what do you think silver is better than gold? Would you rather have your money in silver and platinum than gold? What do you think about platinum? You have never talked about platinum. I know you're in precious metals. Let's hear your talk on silver and platinum right now. What do you think about physical monetary metals instead of only Bitcoin? I know Raul Paul's only Bitcoin. What do you think about physical metals right now, having some sort of tangible in addition to your Bitcoin? That's the position you take, right, Max? Like, I would want to talk about those things, and nobody's really talking about those things yet, because there's like, silver is like my bank account. Bitcoin's like my risky bank account. And platinum's like my bank account that could possibly have a very high return on the interest rate, but it's kind of like a money market. That's how I look at these metals. I look at silver like, you're a very safe CD account, but a very well-paying CD account. And platinum, you're like a riskier money market type account. And then, Bitcoin is like the riskiest of them all, but it's still like a bank to me. And you have full access, and you can move your funds around a lot easier than having the physical monetary metals. There are a lot of things I want to be able to talk about. Kiyosaki, your house is not an asset unless it's being rented. Unless it's being rented, then it is. He would call it a liability, but it's an asset if it's being rented and producing cash flow. Your house is an asset if it's being rented and you're profitable. Then it's an asset. If you're living in it, it's a liability. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I got to make a video on rhodium. Everyone's been talking about rhodium, and I have completely not talked about rhodium, mainly because I feel so much pain. Them says it's just 24,000. I didn't look at it. See, JBG says agree. You know, I've read his books. You know, I've really read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's actually a book I go back to and I read it multiple times. It's an asset. It's an asset. Any of your properties are a liability unless you rent them out and they are profitable on cash flow. You can have a liability of an asset even if you don't live there, but if you don't have anybody renting it and you don't have any cash flow coming in off of it, or if your cash flow isn't exceeding the cost of the mortgage, then you have a liability. Anything that's taking away from your cash flow or taking away from your nest egg is a liability. So what people will do is they'll leverage their assets to take credit against their asset to get another asset and then continue that process. But the only way that you keep getting more assets is if the cash flow exceeds the monthly costs. So the problem that like a Grant Cardone has right now is people can't pay their bills. So this cash flow is probably taking a big hit. So a lot of his properties are changing from assets into liabilities. These are I would love to talk more about these subjects here, but I'm kind of a student. Or I am a student when it comes to these subjects. But eventually in the future, you know, I'm looking forward to doing my first real estate purchase. If you're a subscriber on this channel, you're going to be the first to know about it. You'll be the first to know about it, but I am looking at commercial properties right now and I'm looking to get into real estate, and I have a very big idea that I've been working on, and I'm really, really excited to launch it in the very near future here. And that's why I'm being so conservative with my investments and why I've positioned myself the way that I am. I'm not a day trader. I'm not, you know, somebody that's looking to buy and sell stocks and look at technical analysis. I park my money in places because I have enough to do what I want to do. I'm not worried about changing my net worth to being, you know, 10 million right now. I have enough capital to do what I want to do with my ideas. And that's kind of the way that Elon Musk, I think, looked at it. I mean, I'm not even in the same arena as him, but it doesn't matter if you're worth 300 million, you're worth 10,000, you're worth 3 million, 2 million, 1 million, however much money you have. If you have enough money to do whatever your idea is, and you are very confident in whatever your idea is, do that. Do that. You know, don't put it on doggy coin and try to, you know, go for a moonshot, and you're gambling. You know, you're gambling. I believe in a business first. You know, everybody that's skeptical about Bitcoin or skeptical about, you know, gold or whatever, or silver, whatever they're skeptical about, first and foremost, I look at it as a storage of capital and growing my capital and my nest egg with conviction I can put onto those positions. But the main thing is I'm not a big time gambler anymore. I came from an options trading world. I've seen my net worth change 50% overnight. I've been in that options trading, you know, checking my phone every 10 seconds. Now, granted, I'm still doing that with metals and Bitcoin, so kind of haven't gotten rid of that yet. But I believe in building a company. I believe in building out your ideas. I believe in doing that. And that's what I'm working on right now. And I have more than enough capital to do that. My lifestyle wouldn't change if silver dropped to $20 right now. My lifestyle wouldn't change at all. Nothing would change with the way I live. You know, if Bitcoin dropped to being 10,000, my lifestyle wouldn't change. I would still be working on the same things I'm working on. So I think that's another thing to talk about with your investments. You know, make sure that if it pulled back super heavy, and that is on topic here about this pullback, that your quality of life won't change due to that pullback. Your quality of life will remain the same no matter how much of a pullback there is. That's where I want to be personally right now, especially in the day and age that we're in right now. You know, building up some sort of business, some sort of cash flow, building up your assets. And assets really is just something that pays you. Like, I like to simplify things in a way. A liability is something that takes away from your nest egg. An asset is something that adds to your nest egg. You know, my silver is an asset because it just keeps going up. You know, my cost average on all of my silver is under 20. On all of my silver is well under 20. So yeah, it's an asset. Now, if my cost average was 28, or I bought it at 30, you know, at the peak hype, you know, and I bought it all at 30, then it would be a liability right now because it fell to 28. I wouldn't look at it that way because I know it's going to go over 30 in my mind. So, but that's the difference between a liability and an asset, and they can shift. You know, if you could be a Grant Cardone or one of these big real estate developers or real estate buyers and have all of your slots filled in this building and you're getting tons of cash flow off of it, the goal is to get so much cash flow that you pay off the building and you have no more liability at all. But they might have a lot of liability when individuals can't afford the rent and they're not paying the rent. Well, then now you have liabilities on your hands. So assets, that's the difference between an asset and a liability. Look at the property in downtown LA. You're right. Tim Salo, you're right. I'm with you, man. And I'm looking at different places. I'm looking at Florida. I'm looking at Texas. I'm looking at Nevada. I'm looking at Arizona. I'm looking at a lot of different places. I love California for many different things. I'm sure you can use your imagination why I like California. There's a lot of reasons why I like California. There's a lot of reasons I don't like California. I think it's way overly regulated, and I'm a libertarian, so obviously the philosophies of California, you know, governing is not in my best interests. So yeah, it's crazy. The prices of property in downtown LA, it's like I don't know who would want to live in like Beverly Hills right now. If I had like a mansion in Beverly Hills, I would be dumping that thing so quick. I think it's producer Michael. Producer Michael's like a watch guy. I like to watch him occasionally, and he's saying he's out of California. A lot of these big time guys are leaving California, especially guys that have a big property in Beverly Hills or whatever, because I mean, who wants to be there right now? LA isn't what people think it is anymore. It's just not. It's rough. It's really crowded. Just no, the streets aren't fixed up. They're not nice. People are really struggling. They tax everybody at crazy rates, and then who knows what they do with the capital, because they don't do pretty much anything with it, it seems like. The roads have a bunch of potholes. All the roads are all messed up. A lot of that has to do with they can't even shut down the roads because there's so many people that have to get to their destination, so they can't even shut down the roads to fix the roads. So I don't even know what they do with this tax money, to be honest with you. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy, but I understand why there's lines around the corner at these DMVs in different states now to change residencies, and change like your ownership of your titles and everything of your cars and whatnot to the different state. Makes sense to me. But yeah, it's the best worst place ever. that's LA. It's the best worst place ever. I hear Florida is really great. I've heard a lot of great things about Florida. I have a lot of clients in Florida. Look at silver options. Much contracts are expiring. When it comes to the COMEX contracts, yes. I mean, I'm very interested what happens over the next coming weeks here. The thing about silver is these are just the situation that's happening with silver is a perfect storm. And the reason I'm so much more bullish on silver than gold is because that perfect storm for silver is the same perfect storm for gold, except silver is needed. Gold, like the world, if we got rid of all the gold in the world, there wouldn't be like, that's the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it. And that's why I like doing these live streams. I'll come up with something that I wasn't thinking about. But if you took away all the gold in the world and you just took it all away and it never existed, you put it on a different planet, we wouldn't lose any of our items other than like jewelry. You would still be producing phones. You would still be producing computers. You would still be producing electric cars. You'd still be producing solar panels. Everything would still be in full production and cheaper than using gold. So, but if you took all the silver in the world and you put it onto a different planet, well, then your phones would cost a lot of money to be using gold as the conductor in there, and to be using gold as your noble metal conductor. It's like, that would be a problem. If you took all the silver away, there'd be a big problem. You know, solar panels wouldn't be able to be produced. Electric cars wouldn't be able to produce. All these different things they use silver on, it would dramatically affect the world economy and all these different items that silver is needed for. But we would be able to operate without gold, you know? So that is kind of how I feel about it, if that makes some sense. Yeah, there's gold, but they could go without it. You know, they could go without it and use silver or use a different noble metal. They could use platinum. There's different conductive metals other than gold. You know, gold is just a luxury, really. Look what I did again, guys. I said I was going to be live for an hour and 30 minutes, and then it's an hour and 50 minutes. Look what I've done again. Look what I've done. I always do this to myself. I just love you all so much. That's what it is. I lose track of time doing these live feeds. I really do appreciate you guys being here. Seriously, thank you all so much for being here. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm going to seriously, I am going to end this at 2 hours. So at 2 hours, I'm going to end this. I have 10 more minutes here. If I miss your question, I will be posting this live feed so you can watch it again. If I miss your question, though, shoot me a DM on Instagram. It might take me a week to get back to you because I'm working from the bottom up, but I promise you, I will get back to every single DM on my Instagram, and I am picking up some momentum on getting back to everybody's messages on my Instagram. So at Rob Sultan on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, shoot me a DM there. If I missed your question here, shoot me a DM on my Instagram. I will get back to you. It will be me. It's not an employee. It's not a bot. I'm a small-time YouTuber, small-time Instagram account. It's me getting back to you. If you have questions about physical silver, I actually helped a few people get physical silver in my DMs on Instagram. So it's like a first come, first serve basis, and I'm working from the bottom up. So shoot me a DM on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the red subscribe down there. It's free to click the subscribe. Click the red subscribe. We'd love to have you in the community. If you click the red subscribe and then afterwards there's a bell. Once you click the subscribe, there's a bell. It's totally free to do this. Once you click subscribe, there's a bell. You click the bell and then click all notifications. You'll be notified of all future live streams. So you will be notified whenever I do go live. Sometimes it's impromptu. And on my Instagram, I actually have been notifying people. Like this one, I said on my story on Instagram, I said, hey, I'm going live at 5 o'clock on YouTube. So I notify there as well. But let's get to a few more questions here. And meanwhile, let's take a look at where Bitcoin is right now. First, silver's still holding in there, and so is platinum. They're still hanging in there. Pulling back a little bit. Yeah, Bitcoin's back over 50,000. It's back over 50,000. I'm not, and the thing is, it's like when you look at the downside of like, say XRP really fell hard. You know, that really fell hard because it's, you know, it's an altcoin. You know, if you look at these altcoins, like Litecoin took a really hard hit as well. It went from 247 was at its high, and now it's down at $1.82. Bitcoin, if you really look at its monthly chart, it really hasn't taken that hard of a hit. Even its weekly chart, it hasn't taken that hard of a hit. So while I'm doing this live stream, I'm missing out, guys. I wanted to buy another full Bitcoin, you know, like I'm missing out here, guys. You know, I wanted back in on this and I'm missing out on money. That's what I do for my YouTube audience. I do this for my YouTube audience. I was actually looking to buy a little bit more, but that's, I don't care as much about that. I care more about my YouTube subscribers here and all the community we got here. But when we get out of here, I am looking to get more Bitcoin. I do think that I would like a bit more of it myself. Maybe I'm crazy, but then again, like I said before, this is a very big thing to know. What does your quality of life take per month? What are your expenses per month? Are they 1,000? Are they 2,000? Are they 3,000, 4,000, 5,000? What are your expenses per month? How long could you last if Bitcoin went to zero on your living expenses? Would it affect your quality of life if it went to zero? Well, then you probably shouldn't have that much Bitcoin. That's how I look at it. If Bitcoin went to zero, my quality of life would change this much. Would change nothing. I would be bummed. I would be super bummed. I wouldn't like that at all, you know, but it wouldn't change my quality of life. That's the ultimate feel I have for that. Yeah, and if Bitcoin drops 90%, I'd probably be with you. I'd probably be wanting to buy a little bit more of it and hang on to it. Silver price projection at year end. Keep in mind, guys, I am going to end this in 7 minutes. If I missed your question, shoot me a DM on Instagram, and I will get back to you on Instagram. Didn't miss any of those. There was one super chat I missed earlier. I'm sorry about that. There was a guy who gave me like 10. I'll shoot me a DM and say that you were the person that did that super chat. I will get back to you. I'm sorry I missed that, man. It bothers me. I can't scroll up to the older comments. Hang on. You will still have your Bitcoin. I don't know. Bought my house $38. Bought a house for $38? What? Maybe you mean 38,000. 38,000. Okay. Sold for 80,000. Congrats. Right now, it's a tough time to get into real estate right now. We have crossed the threshold of sustainability crash coming. Mr. T, you're always in Silvertarian. You're also here as well. Mr. T and Silvertarian. I notice when you guys are in these live feeds a lot, and I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate your support. Both of you, Silvertarian and Mr. T. You're in these live feeds a lot, and you always have great things to say. I really appreciate you guys being here. Silvertarian says if things go sideways, you don't want to dip into your stack. I agree, Silvertarian. Will Bitcoin dump? Will Bitcoin dump? Will Bitcoin dump or increase? I've seen, you should write it. Maybe if you write it out 3 more times, I'll answer it. I only answer when you write it out 5 times. So you're up to 2, no, 3. I mean, I'll answer 2 more times. You got to do that 2 more times. Just kidding. I'm sorry. It's just such a broad question. I'm sorry to poke fun. But when you copy and paste, it's like, will Bitcoin dump? Maybe. You know, I think that it does a beautiful thing. I should make a video. I should maybe stop this live feed, do another live feed on why I disagree with Peter Schiff now, because I've made a bunch of videos on why I disagree with Peter Schiff, but I actually have a few things to add to it right now. But I think Bitcoin does have intrinsic value. I know people will disagree with me. I think that it's a network, and networks are very valuable. You know, look at what PayPal is. PayPal is a network to help process transactions and verify transactions. You know, you pay the goods and services. They're the escrow, and Bitcoin is a very fancy decentralized escrow. Like it's brilliant. Like if you tell me there's no value in that, you're telling me there's no value in PayPal. PayPal is a fancy escrow. Bitcoin is a fancy escrow. It's like, yeah, it's brilliant. You know, like if you're telling me there's no intrinsic value to that, like you're crazy in my opinion. Like that makes no sense for me to have a decentralized escrow that you can store that capital, not have any of the BS that you have to deal with PayPal or any of that. And you can essentially move your money however you want, like whenever you want, whatever time you want. You don't have to wait for any bank to open or anything. You can do it when it's like, there's a total intrinsic value behind that. It's like, this is a network. It's an escrow network. It's brilliant. That's how I feel about it. Yellen, she's got to go back to the bingo hall, in my opinion. She does a very good job. She does a very good job at running the bingo hall, I think. I don't think that she'll do as good of a job as the Treasury Secretary. I think it was like the lead, I swear she did like some sort of lead job at the local bingo hall in Washington, D.C. I forget what the title was. Maybe like she called out the numbers, I think. Like it's B12, I13. Like that was her main job, I think. She'd yell, and someone yell out bingo, and she'd verify, okay, yeah, they got a bingo. Okay, you know, pay them, you know, what prize do they get? Okay, give them a chocolate bar. You know, that was kind of Yellen's job. But she's now she's talking a lot on a very large stage, which is very odd. I mean, I thought it was more of a bingo hall type thing, but sell Bitcoin and buy silver and platinum. I mean, I will say again, silver and platinum, that's my largest position, the majority of my net worth, silver, platinum. Bitcoin's number 3 and increasing. But silver and platinum, I love them. I like Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin more than I like gold. That should say a lot. I don't like Bitcoin as much as I like silver. It changes the world more than silver does, but silver I can buy with more conviction, and I'm very, very confident. I am confident putting my entire net worth into silver. All of my expendable income, I am comfortable putting into silver, and there's a large amount of it there. But I wouldn't feel comfortable putting my entire net worth in Bitcoin. So this is a debate I have in my head every single day. Like every single day I think about this. Every hour of the day. But that's how I feel. I can buy silver with more conviction than I buy Bitcoin, but I do enjoy Bitcoin, and I think that there is a major, major value. Like here's a mind-opening thing. This is a mind-opening thing, and this is like a gem of information I think will really help you. Especially, I said 2 hours, guys. I said 2 hours, and here I am talking on a ramble again. Oh, hopefully I forget what I hope I lose my train of thought, because I said 2 hours, and I know what I was just about to say. I was about to ramble for a good minute on that. Oh, I might have just lost my train of thought. Yep, I can't remember what I was about to say. I'll get to some more comment. I was just about to say something that was a really good thing. It was in the frontal lobe of my brain, and it just didn't make it. It didn't make it out. It couldn't get it together in my head. Maybe it'll come back to me. I was about to hit my brain, and it just didn't go there. I hate it when that happens. Something about Wallstreetsilver. Aren't COMEX contracts up for delivery tomorrow? Are you ever going? I believe it is tomorrow. I've just been saying this week, just because I didn't, because there's going to be kind of, it's more of like this entire week. I think it is up tomorrow, but you're going to kind of see the effects throughout the week. But I would imagine that if I was going to put a conservative price projection on silver, I would say in the next year. I did a poll recently. Actually, what happened with that poll? Let's find out. Let's find out what people said on that poll. I'm kind of curious what people say. Oh wow, I pop up on my own phone. That's great. It's kind of weird to watch yourself in real time there. Hang on here. I wanted to check what that poll ended up being, because I did do a recent poll on, I said, where do you think the price of silver will be 1 year from today? And we actually got 1.4 thousand votes. We actually got 1.4 thousand votes here, so that's pretty good. And 16% of the 1.4 thousand votes said under 30, 20% said over 30, 17% said over 40, 24% said over 50, and 23% said over 100. And 1.4 thousand individuals is pretty strong. Now, granted, we're in the space. We're all kind of in decentralized assets here. It's funny to me. Guys are buying, are guys from the Bitcoin community and from the crypto community actually are very fond of precious metals often. They consider precious metals like a more safe CD account sort of thing. They're like, yeah, I like decentralized assets, and my Bitcoin's kind of volatile. You know, I've made a lot of money on it. I want some platinum too. Platinum's rad. I like platinum. You know, I like silver, but you don't have the hate. Like, you don't have the same kind of hate that like Peter Schiff has towards Bitcoin. It's not the same. It's like, they're more so like, yeah, we like it. We like the stock. You know, like Bitcoin guys are usually not really against precious metals. It's funny. Like, it's funny that we are all kind of on this. And that's why I love doing this on this channel, because we're kind of in the same mindset in a sense. You know, there's no reason for the precious metals guys to not like Bitcoin in like a hasteful way, like they're going to take away from their pie. It's like there's less than 15 trillion over here in precious metals and Bitcoin combined. Bitcoin is simply a small little $1 trillion valuation. It's nothing compared to all of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And that's the enemy. The enemy is the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trillions of fiat currency dollars out there, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trillions of fake dollars out there, all this fake money back to nothing. That to me is the one you should be against, not the little $1 trillion Bitcoin over here. Like, why are you wasting so much time on this, Peter Schiff? Like, what's your point? Like, what? Get to the talk about the there's like a gorilla in the room, and you're focused on the little one of us squirrels in the corner. Ironically, silver squirrels, silverback gorillas, you know. But I'm just saying, there's an elephant in the room, and he's focused on like the ant in the corner, and the ant is like, "Hey, let's take on the elephant. Come on, man!" And you know, Peter Schiff's like, "No, shut up, shut up, ant. You know, there's an elephant in here, and you're the problem, ant." It's like, no. It doesn't make any sense to focus that much time and energy on Bitcoin. It really is that. It's like an elephant versus an ant. Like, it's completely different. And ironically, Bitcoin is bringing so much more exposure to the space that we're in today, you know? I got back the thought I had, the thought I forgot about. I just came back to me. Thank you. Thank you for coming. That's how long it takes my brain. It's like I got a squirrel brain. So it's kind of like a peanut from a fishing wire kind of bouncing around in there. And occasionally it comes up with something, but usually it's just kind of peanut going back and forth inside of my head, or like a monkey clapping kind of thing. But this was the thought before I lose that thought again. Carl Icahn is an activist investor, Carl Icahn. And I'm sure a lot of us in this live stream remember when he ended up going to eBay and saying, hey, I'm an activist investor. I'm taking a position in eBay, and I want you to separate PayPal from eBay. Right? I want you to separate PayPal from eBay. They did that. They separated eBay from PayPal. At the time, PayPal was just the transaction method for eBay. It was like the little baby. It was eBay's little baby. You know, it was a small baby that they bought from Elon Musk, ironically from Elon Musk, at a very low rate compared to where its valuation is now. And here's where I'm going with this. And this is a very eye-opening thing that for me, thinking about this, and I'm sharing this with all of you. I swear this was something that really affected my thought process on Bitcoin. When they separated the two, what became more valuable? Carl Icahn was right that they needed to be separated, but eBay gave away so much of its power by letting go of PayPal, because what people really needed wasn't eBay. They needed the escrow company. They needed the ability to send their money to their Shopifys, to their Instagram transactions, to their Facebook transactions. They needed something to send the money. They didn't care about the auction house. They wanted to be able to send the money to each other in a decentralized way, eBay being the central party. So if that's not an eye-opening thing for you, when you realize how big of a valuation PayPal has instead of eBay, it used to be eBay's little baby. It was much smaller in their valuation. They separated the two, and then PayPal just 10x'd it. Just 10x'd it. You know, I don't know about 10x, but it definitely got way bigger in the valuation. Let's pull up the actual numbers here. Hang on. But that goes to what that tells you, what the eye-opening moment is there, is that people don't care. They don't care about the auction company. They don't care about the platform that they're using. They don't care whether it's Instagram, Facebook, eBay, Amazon, whatever. They care about being able to move their money without somebody telling them what to do. And to be able to use the escrow of PayPal for only 3% versus paying eBay 10% proved to be far more valuable to people, obviously, because the market cap of PayPal skyrocketed past eBay's valuation when it came from eBay in the first place. So if that doesn't tell you that there is value in a way to move money in a safe and effective way online, peer-to-peer, then I don't know what will tell you that. And that is a point I'm going to talk about in another video when I'm countering Peter Schiff again, because Lord knows I'm going to counter him a few more times and put a few screenshots of his comments and everything, just showing how well they aged. It's all love, Peter. It's all love until you're able to actually debate me. I know that you're scared of another precious metals guy debating you on Bitcoin, but you're wrong about it. You have been wrong about it, and you'll still be wrong about it, in my personal opinion. And one day I'm going to be able to get you on a debate. I've DM'd him. I've done a lot of different things to try to get Peter Schiff on the show. But I think I would take Peter on pretty well. And I think I might actually put quite a few cracks in his argument. I don't think he'd be able to counter a lot of my arguments. And he would keep rambling on and on of the same points that he's had for the past 10 years. But I have a feeling he wouldn't be able to counter a lot of my arguments. But we'll see about that. So far, he came to my video. I mean, you guys can see the comment he posted on one of my videos. I said, Peter Schiff is wrong about this. He made a comment himself, his verified checked account made a comment on my video. And he said, I hope in the end your channel ends up doing better than Bitcoin. And it was kind of like a sweet, passive aggressive type comment. And I think he actually was being genuine about it, because honestly, I'm a libertarian myself. And I think every single thing that Peter says, other than talking so badly about Bitcoin, is spot on in my opinion. I think he hits the nail on the head on everything other than Bitcoin. So I have no hate for Peter Schiff. I think he's a great person, but I think that he's wasting a ton of energy on Bitcoin, and I think he's doing it just for clout. I really don't think he has a good argument at this point. But hang on, I wanted to show PayPal's valuation here. PayPal. PayPal is currently valued at 300. PayPal, which is a escrow company where you buy something online for 3% is what they make. 3%. 1% if you do an instant deposit, 3%, that's their business model. They make 3% on the transaction. I think it's 2.9% on the transactions. They have a valuation at $310 billion. Now, where's eBay? This wasn't that long ago when they did the spinoff. 310 billion versus eBay's 41 billion. 41.76 billion, so almost 42 billion versus 310 billion. Yeah, people want to be able to send their money without a centralized party. You could look at eBay in the same way that I look at a central bank. I want to be able to send my money without having to deal with all of your wire transfer stuff. People want to be able to send their money without having to pay them 10% to eBay. And they're willing to just make their own website, make their own stores to get away from that 10%. eBay's business model is dying, in my opinion. Like they're the only way eBay can grow is if they charge more on their fees. And people want less fees. So why did PayPal thrive? Because PayPal, realistically, if PayPal and eBay were still together, well, then you should have a $350 billion juggernaut, right? But you don't. They separated. And now eBay is only 40 billion, 42 billion, whereas PayPal is 310 billion. So what did the people say was more valuable in that situation? Well, it's obvious. The people wanted to be able to transact safely and effectively and cheaper. They wanted to be able to transact safer, more effective, and more cheap. That's Bitcoin. When you send somebody Bitcoin, it's done. The deal's done. You have full access to everything. And by the way, PayPal, they have in their code, and I have a lot of friends that this has happened to, they can lock up your money. They can lock up your money for 180 days, no questions asked. They have the right to do that, and they do it quite a bit. They mess with people quite a bit. I think they do a lot of great stuff too, but you're trusting a central party. Excuse me. But to say, when you have a company that gets taken out of eBay and then turns into a $300+ billion company just for doing transactions online, and you tell me that you have another thing like Bitcoin that you're able to do transactions online, and there's no the seller is safe and the buyer is safe if they've done their reputation checks on the two of them, because once it's sent, it's done. PayPal is more for strangers, to transact in a way, because you need some sort of escrow to make sure that the person got their item effectively and everything like that. But it's the beauty of cryptocurrency, of Bitcoin, is there's far less fees. Definitely not 3%. Definitely not 3%, especially on large quantities. And especially if you don't care if it gets there within a day, and you don't need it to get there instantaneously. The rate is far cheaper than 3%. It actually is paying you to store your money there because it keeps going up in value. It's deflationary and it's not backed by dollars or a fiat. So all of these things are lining up. And so if you tell me PayPal is worth 310 billion, if you don't think Bitcoin does 90% of the things that PayPal does, I don't think you're effectively looking at it. Now, what's PayPal doing? Well, they're going into Bitcoin. Why is that? Graham says, I never thought of Bitcoin having value because it is a network. Could you do a video explaining that further? I have avoided Bitcoin because I struggled with whether it was intrinsic or not. Graham, that's exactly what I'm talking about right now. And I will make a video on that, because that was a point, that was literally the thought I had that I forgot about for a second there. I'm like, oh, I really want to talk about that eBay situation, because that is so telling. That is so telling of the human psyche of transactions online. If there was one thing that was super telling of the transactions online, well, it would be the fact that PayPal became worth more than eBay. The baby of eBay ended up being the master of eBay. The little baby. It was its little baby that they bought out for $1 billion, and it was their little baby of eBay. They separated it because Carl Icahn is the mean house separator, and they separated the baby from the family, and the baby ended up becoming a monster and being way bigger than the initial family of eBay. That's what happened. So it just tells you what people want online. They want to be able to move their money online. and they want to be able to move it cost effectively. And because they trust the other person, a lot of the times, like in my business, I know who I'm selling to. Like I know my client pretty well, and I trust them. So I'm willing to do that because I trust them. I don't really need a person to escrow. After I've met them, after I know who they are as a person, I've been friends with them for years. I've done a lot of revenue with them. I know who they are. And so I can trust them. And so I would much rather have to pay a fraction of fees to move with Bitcoin than I would having to deal with PayPal's huge 3% fees. And by the way, 3% on like 100 grand, it adds up, guys. It adds up. If you're in a business that is high volume, low margin, then you're in a very tough position with PayPal. Very, very tough position with PayPal. If you're like one of these big bullion houses, they might be operating on a small 1% spread where they have to do a wire transfer to give you a good deal on it. Because how could you operate? Say you're moving $100,000 worth of silver and you make $101,000. Now, if you make $1,000 in a day, that's pretty good money. But at the same time, you couldn't do that transaction in PayPal. You couldn't because you'd lose money because they take 3%. So on a low margined, high cost good, you essentially can't use can't use PayPal rather. So Bitcoin stands to really have a place in the world of being a network to move money cost effectively, and know that I actually kind of love the idea of once it's sent, it's done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no contacting. One of the biggest things in my industry that's scary is there's scammers out there that will give you a check. The check cashes, and they go and dispute it with their bank, and they take the money out of your bank after the check was already cashed. That's a problem in the industry. You have to know your client because that can't happen. But with Bitcoin, once it's sent, once it's in your wallet and it's confirmed, it's done. It's done. The amount of scammers between transactions, you would think that there'd be more scammers or something with Bitcoin in the beginning, maybe, but as it's more widely adopted, people will understand that this is a permanent thing. When you move Bitcoin, it is permanent. And so there is the benefits of that are tremendous in addition to the risks of it. So there is that. Litecoin does not do the same thing as Bitcoin, Jay. I apologize, but I don't mean to be rude, but it does not. Bitcoin is far different than Litecoin. Bitcoin is a deflationary coin. Litecoin there isn't the same network in place. The network is what's valuable. It's like saying MySpace does the same thing as Facebook. Best way I could put that. MySpace does the same thing as Facebook, and everybody in here would be like, no. Well, it does, but it doesn't have the network. You got to put the value on the network and being the most established, strong blockchain. There's a reason why Bitcoin is like 80% of the cryptocurrency market cap. You don't hear about, a grayscale for Litecoin. You don't hear about Cash App going into Litecoin. You don't hear about, anything of these major institutions. You don't see Tesla buying 1.5 billion of Litecoin. What matters is the network that is already established. And it's just like a gold miner doesn't want to shift to being a cobalt miner. They want to mine gold. They're getting paid the most for gold. So Litecoin it's not. And I said I was going to do 2 hours. I said I was going to do an hour and 30 minutes. Then I do 2 hours. Now it's in 2 hours and 17 minutes. I just keep rambling, guys. It's a problem. That's how you know it's not scripted. At least it's not scripted. I might embarrass myself in these live streams. I put myself out there and I might say some crazy stuff on here, but I love being live. I love being able to talk with you all. I really appreciate you guys being here. Hey, and how you know when people say hit the thumbs up button for me? Yeah, please hit the thumbs up button. It does get more people in my live streams. It really does help my channel grow. If you agree with the things I'm saying, even if you disagree, I don't, as you know, in the comments over here, Zilla saying sand timer. I don't know. Should I tip over the sand timer to everybody? If you guys get my likes up, I'll tell you what, I will tip over the sand timer and stay live for another 30 minutes if my likes get to 500. If my likes get to 500 on here by 2:30, I'll give it 12 minutes. I'll give 12 more minutes. My likes get to 500, I will flip the sand timer and I'll stay live until 3 hours. I will give up another pretty much hour of my life. If we get up to 500 likes, I'll do that. So we're at, it's going up. Uh-oh. They're making me put my money where my mouth is. Oh man. It's happening. Uh-oh. You got 11 minutes. You got 11 minutes. And if it gets to 500 likes, if we get to 500 likes, I'll stay live for another 30 minutes after that, and we'll keep talking. But as you're liking it, more people will see it because I think it starts showing the video more, the more likes. People are like, show off a bar, show off a bar. The likes are going up. We're at 360. I might actually stay live for 3 hours now. 366 now. All right. This is getting, you guys got 10 minutes, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Show off a bar. What, you want me to pull one off the table over here? Hang on. This is a pretty cool one. All right. It said table bookshelf. It's a pretty cool certified ingot. This is a super cool vintage bar. It's about like almost 8 pounds or 7.5 pounds because it's 7.25 pounds of a bar. A little weight. Pretty cool. There's someone like, this guy's a hedge fund shill. He gets all of that leased. He's leasing his silver. Got me. You got me. I had some comments like that in one of my videos. Yeah, there's a lot of the guys in here that know their vintage silver and stuff, and I'm a big fan of vintage silver. Like, these are pretty cool. These are actually made by Credit Suisse, so like the actual Credit Suisse. So for those that don't know, like vintage silver, it's pretty cool to have an old bank bar like that. It's pretty dang cool to have an old Credit Suisse like that. So that kind of helps people understand what the vintage silver scene's about. It's a pretty sweet bar to have an old school Credit Suisse 100-ounce bar, you know. Zilla, you do have one. You got one off of me. I sold 2 of my Credit Suisses. Where do I get my silver? I've been buying silver. I've been buying silver since 15, I want to say, because when I was first getting into silver, I was buying like 13, 14, 15, 16. So I mean, I have a lot of silver, you know. Occasionally I'll replace my silver. I'll sell some of it and I'll buy some more of it, you know. But I really own a lot of silver. So people wonder, like, where you get these rare vintage bars and then where you get these silver bars. Like, I've had them, you know, I store them. You know, I don't like showing them very much. I like to keep them. But occasionally I sell them for fun. I do those live auctions and stuff in my Facebook group. If you're not in my Facebook group, go to my Instagram. There's information on that. At Rob Sultan on Instagram, there's information about my Facebook group. I do live auctions every Saturday. And I'm doing a lot. There's a lot of stuff I'm working on behind the scenes. The problem is I keep doing these live streams where I was supposed to get done a bunch of stuff in my warehouse. I end up going live on YouTube, and I end up staying live for like 3 hours when I'm supposed to do 1 hour. And it takes up a lot of my time. So if it's taking me a while to get back to you or show what I've been working on, it's just, I do these live stream things and it ends up taking up way more time than I thought it would, because I love my subscriber base so much that I just end up staying live for 3 hours when I was supposed to do it for 1 hour. True story. But yeah, Zilla did get one of my credits. He did get one of them. He has one of them. He got it in the last Facebook Live. Why does Albert Einstein look evil? He does kind of look a little diabolical, I'll be honest with you. But he looks also pretty badass at the same time. He looks pretty cool. So he's a little bit of both. Oh yeah, guys, I said if we got to 500 likes, you guys, we got 6 minutes, so I might actually be able to stop at 2:30 and not 3 hours. I have talked about quite a bit, everybody. I have talked about quite a bit. Show us your watch collection. It's actually on my Instagram. I only have 3 watches in my watch collection, and they're posted on my Instagram. If you go to @RobSultan on Instagram, I'm doing exclusive content over there as well. I do live streams on there as well. I post some live streams on my Instagram as well. So if you're not on my Instagram, @RobSultan on Instagram, is that watch real? I'm not going to show you. Don't show fake watch busters. It's oh, they caught me. Is here you can take a screenshot and send it to Watchbusters. See if it's real or not. I don't know if it's focused or not. Take a screenshot of it. Send it to fake Watchbusters. Catch me. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people do think libertarians are I mean, there's so many ways that people are putting their own definitions on things. I mean, rather than just saying I'm a libertarian myself, I would just say I believe the best government is a small government. I stand by the same preachings of the founding fathers of the country. The best government is a small government. That was what it was supposed to be. It was a small government that had a limited amount of abilities, and it wasn't supposed to be this big machine thing that it is now. I believe the best thing the government can do is just get out of the way. Just get out of the way and stop overtaxing the citizens. Stop, doing the things that they do when they get extremely big. When they get larger and larger and larger. If you give these individuals a lot of capital to appropriate, well, then it gets misappropriated. If you give them a small amount of capital, they do smart things with it because they have a smaller amount of capital, but they have unlimited capital where they can print as much as they want at will. And it's like children in charge of the monetary system. It makes no sense, the things that they do at the Fed and what they do. It's completely outlandish. And you got people like Yellen saying the dollar is getting stronger. And it's like, how is the dollar getting stronger? You printed 13 trillion of them like in a year and a half. Like they're stronger. Like doesn't take an economist, it doesn't take an economist to know that, but libertarians are really who the founders of the country are, Jefferson, Washington. These guys are libertarians, really. It wasn't until they started labeling them as Republicans or Democrats or whatever. It's like, realistically, Americans were libertarians, just means no taxation without representation, stay out of my business. That's pretty much what it meant to be an American. What it used to mean. But yeah, Jefferson had some great quotes, some great quotes. So it's like, I just hate the divide in the country. I wish there were more libertarians because there really doesn't need to be this much divide in the country. My thing is I was actually going to make a video on why I'm a capitalist. So I'm a capitalist. I'm a libertarian. I believe in capitalism, and I believe in being a libertarian. Those are my beliefs. That's who I am. I believe in free market capitalism. And, you would hope in capitalism, which is kind of what we have right now, you would hope that the bottom of a capitalistic society, got more of a... That's the problem that we have right now. With capitalism, the problems are still there, but they're not nearly the same problems as like socialism, for example. The problem with capitalism is you want the bottom of the hierarchy to be able to have a fresh start. You want the runners to be lined up and be able to sprint at the same time. But because of old money and because of the people that have a lot of old money, they have a way head start. They get to start on mile 2 on a 5-mile race, and whereas other people have to start, back, than where they started. So that's the problem in a capitalistic society that we have today. But it is still, with that problem, it's far better than a socialism society, a socialism-based society. So you have to know what your problems are and address those problems. My hope with the society that we have under capitalism, as much as I love capitalism, I would like for everybody to have a fresh start, like everybody to be able to start at a clean slate. Doesn't matter what ethnicity, where anybody comes from or anything. I want everybody to have the ability to grow in this society, which they do, but some people, they don't have the same kind of starting point. So I would hope that there's some way to, it doesn't seem like it'd be such a hard problem to solve, but it's something that I think is the biggest problem with the capitalistic society we have, is letting everybody start on a fresh situation there. It's really how I feel about the society that we have. So when I say I'm a capitalist, it doesn't mean like, yeah, billionaires, yeah, you know, capitalism. If I had a choice between, like, you know, when you fall into Fortnite, and by the way, I haven't gotten to 500 likes, and we only got a minute left, guys. You only got a minute left. We got to 404 likes. It's getting pretty close. I'm gonna change the goalpost. I'm gonna put the goalpost a little closer. I'll stay live for another 30 minutes if we get it to 450 likes. But you only got 30 seconds. 450 likes. I changed the goalpost. We're at 412. 412 now. Oh, it's getting closer. Almost there. I'll flip it. I will flip that 30-minute timer over there if we get to 450. And you got 20 seconds. But we're getting pretty close, actually. We're getting pretty close. 427, 429. Only 20 likes away. You got 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Only 20 likes away. 431. Oh, I don't know if we made it. I don't know. All right. I'll tell you what. I'll flip it off. There we go. Another 30 minutes, guys. And I was trying to buy some Bitcoin today. I'm going to give another 30 minutes. But when that timer's done, that's when I'll seriously go off the live feed. I'll go off the live feed. Rob, that watch is gaudy and fake. But how could it be gaudy if it was fake, though? If it was fake, then it couldn't be gaudy because it would be fake. So you got to choose one or the other, man. You got to choose whether it's gaudy or whether it's fake. You got to choose one or the other. You see, this is why I like not having a moderator. I like comments like that. I have fun with them. But the situation with what I want to talk about capitalism versus socialism, I should make a video on this. In a capitalistic society, you know, it's almost like you imagine we're in Fortnite, right? And you fall in from Fortnite and you land on the planet or whatever. Imagine we're falling in and you had two choices on where to live, two different spots on where to go. And it was like a Fortnite game and you're flying into the world and you have one spot that is called Utopiaville and you have one spot that is Competitionville. And those were the only two choices that you had. And one spot, everybody wore gray. Everybody drove the same car. Everybody had health care. Everybody had food, but they didn't have quality food. They just had food. They just were fed. Maybe they were on rice and beans or whatever they're eating. You know, it's like just whatever they want, or not whatever they want. Just they got fed. Like it could be jail food, whatever. Cars that, you know, they didn't have Ferraris. They didn't have Teslas. They just all had the same gray car. They all wore the same gray clothes, but they had health care. They had food. They had a house, not a nice house, just a place to sleep. And everything was the same. Everybody had the same thing. The phones were very outdated because there was no competition. So they might not even have iPhones because there was no competition there. Everybody's on the same playing field. So there was no competition at all. But everybody's fed and everybody has healthcare. They're all lions in the zoo. They're not in the wild. They're in the zoo. They get fed at a certain time. They sleep within cages. They're lions in the zoo. Competitionville. People drive Ferraris. People have Teslas. People eat steaks. People eat fancy foods. You know, they have drinks. They have whatever they want. They have fancy stuff over here. But there's also failure. There's people at the very top that have great stuff, and they've worked hard, and they've got a nice house, and they got a big old house, and they got solar panels, and they got a Tesla, and they got all this stuff, and they eat steak every night. And there's people like that in this world. There's none of them over here in Utopiaville. But there's people like that over here in Competitionville. But you can fail. You can fail and end up homeless in the back of a car, homeless on the street. You can fail. But you could only choose between these two places, and you had to choose, and it was forever. You have to choose. You're coming in like it's Fortnite, and you got to choose Utopiaville, Competitionville. You don't get a choice. You don't get to go back and forth. You have to choose one of them. For me, it'd be Competitionville 10 times out of 10. I'd want to compete. That's how I'd feel. I'd want to be competing. That's how I feel. I'm a capitalist, and I would want the ability to compete. I would want the ability to fail and come back from a failure. I would want that. And so that's going to the extremes of both sides. You know, super Competitionville, super Utopiaville. which one would you choose? You know, that's how I like to do. I either like to overly simplify things or overly exaggerate things so I can make a decision on it. And that's my over exaggeration of why I'm a capitalist. That's why I am what I am. And yeah, I think that there's got to be a better way to give everybody a fresh start. There's got to be a better way for everybody. And honestly, we kind of have it. It's actually not that bad. You know, the fact that you can get a supercomputer phone. I mean, this, if you went back 50 years and you showed them this iPhone, they'd be like, what in the alien is that? What in the alien is this? You got a camera on there. There's 3 cameras on there because one wasn't enough. We got 3 of them with a fancy flash on it, and it can take a photo that can see the inside of your pores on your face. Like, what is this alien technology? You go back 50 years, this would blow their mind. Oh yeah, you can put an earbud in and call anybody in the world on your earbud in your ear. Yeah, it's $1,000. Who would have thought? You know, like that is a product of competition between Nokia and Apple and Samsung. This is a product of competition to drive the prices down, increase the product's value. Like that is a product of competition. And so these types of things wouldn't exist in Utopiaville. They wouldn't exist. So you need competition for $1,000 supercomputer in your pocket. That you need it. And so those are the little details that a lot of people don't look at. But yeah, there's major problems. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect, but it's, in my opinion, the best way to be. Totally off topic, and I'm just staying live for a little bit longer. But that's how I feel about that that whole situation. I mean, the amount of power that you have with this supercomputer in your pocket is astonishing. It's how I started everything. It's literally how I started everything, from coffee shops, going to coffee shops using their free Wi-Fi, traveling around the country in my car. At some point, I'll talk more about my upbringing and how I got to build Mineral Exchange and how I am in the position I am now. I just feel like I'm kind of shocked on how much the YouTube has grown. The YouTube went from like 1,000, 2,000 subscribers to now 13,000 plus. I mean, we're almost at 13,000. I don't know how many subscribers we have right now, but I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm humbled. I'm out of words to say for it, but it's new to me. So a lot of people are saying like, how'd you get into precious metals? How'd you do this? How'd you do? It's like, I'm shocked that my channel has grown this much. I'm shocked. So it's like, I'm still on that journey. So I'm not really like in the position right now to be like, this is how I got successful. I'm still trying to get successful. I'm not satisfied with where I am. You know, I live a much better quality life than I used to live, you know, now quite a bit better, but I still have that chip on my shoulder where it's like, I'm still on the journey in a way. So it's hard for me to talk about like my trials and tribulations, or however you would say it, especially because I'm on the journey right now. And ironically, the people that say my watch is gaudy or whatever, this watch went up $5,000 in value since I bought it. I get paid to wear this thing. It's inventory. So who's getting the last laugh now? It's a full box and papers, full set watch, and I think it's only going up in value. So I buy things. I don't buy things to be gaudy. Obviously, it is gaudy, and I like my watch. I think this is one of the prettiest Rolexes that was ever made, the Yachtmaster, the older Yachtmaster style. But I buy things as an asset, not a liability. Even something like that. I mean, some people might buy an iced out Rolex for 20 grand or whatever, which was close to what this one cost, but I would rather buy a super clean box and papers, all original, full set, with a limited quantity that were produced. Like I think about those types of things when I make my investments. So to some people it looks gaudy. To me, it was $5,000 profit on my wrist. I look at it down and I go, wow, that thing paid me $5 grand if I decide to sell it. It makes me feel good about it. Rob is the collector from Guardians of the Galaxy. Rob, you're a nerd. Proud of it. Proud of it. Super proud of it. You could rent it. Cool. Take care. Lily, take care of yourself. Thanks for being here. Rob, are you into cars? I am into cars. I'm I love cars. I'm not in the position right now to have a lot of cars because I don't have a place to store them. I appreciate it, Zilla. I appreciate when people do that, and that hypes me up. Robert Greene, his book's right there, 48 Laws of Power. Robert Greene, I've flipped through 48 Laws of Power. I actually got to read the whole thing cover to cover. I've flipped through it and gone through the different things, but I have a few books I'm working on right now. One of them, I'm pretty into one of them right now. I'm trying to force myself to do like 50 pages in a book in the morning and 50 pages at night. Like put a amount of pages to read and get better about reading more. But I do things like stay live for 3 hours and I lose my time. But I appreciate you guys. We did get it to 450. We didn't quite get 500 likes, but we got to 450. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I keep my net worth in vehicles. I mean, if you're smart about it, like there's people that put their net worth in watches. Some people they'll look at that, like one of the comments in here is like, oh, that watch is gaudy and fake. It's not fake, it's real. And it might be gaudy, but I'll tell you what, half of its value is just in solid gold and it's extremely undervalued in my opinion. So I get to wear it and I think it's going up in value and it has gone up in value. So it's all about doing your research and due diligence on something. You can be very profitable keeping all your money in cars. And maybe a lot more profitable than even having Bitcoin or something. It's like you could be a lot more profitable if you study cars, have a place to store it for cheap, know how to do the builds and stuff yourself. You can be profitable. You got to do your due. You can also lose everything too. So you got to do your due diligence, on whatever it is. That 100 like bump with the Sultan Sand Timer. We got close to 500. We're at 460. We did go up like 100 likes. We're almost at 500 likes. So you guys be careful. If you click it twice, it'll drop a like. You can only click it one time. It's got to be smash blue or something. I don't know if that's people like click it more than once or something. But we're almost there at 500. Invest in safes. Who would steal? Wow, that's quite a business. I mean, I'll tell you what, my TL30 safes were expensive. One of them was 6,000. One of them was like 7,000. One of them was 3,000. They're expensive. TL safes can be very expensive. Rob, I have your domain. No, you don't. I have my domain. Mineral X and Mineral Exchange. Those are my domains. I'm pretty proud of mineralx.com. That was a hard one to get. It's expensive. Let me see. Do a video on real estate. I'll do a video on real estate when I get into real estate. Like I'll do a video on Bitcoin after I've used Bitcoin for a while, and that's why I'm talking about Bitcoin because I use it. I'm using these hard wallets. I'll make a video on these Bitcoin hard wallets after I've used them for a few months, and I can tell you, exactly how they operate, exactly how these work. That's when I'm willing to talk about it. I'm very hesitant to talk about things until I actually have used them with my own hands myself. I'm very hesitant to do that. I do. Right now I have no partners. I own 100% of my LLC. But you know what? We let these guys like this con guy, like I can see the con guy in the comments, let it roll. Let it roll. Let them say what they want to say. What's funny, the thing about somebody that's kind of like a hater or somebody that's trying to put you down or say negative things, it's usually the social media is like a mirror. Whatever you say into it is usually a reflection of yourself. So if you put good vibes out there, if you're trying to help people, you genuinely want to grow yourself. Like right now, I'm in growth mode. I'm still on the journey right now. I haven't had success yet in my mind. Maybe some people think I have success, but I'm still on the journey right now. So by me making these YouTube videos, it's like me telling the world, hey, I want to grow more and I want to grow more with you all. But I'm not willing to talk down to people, even if they don't agree with me. Even with Peter Schiff, even if I don't agree with Peter Schiff on Bitcoin, I'm willing to say he's a very, very wise individual, all the different things he talks about, being a libertarian, a smaller government, all these different things that he talks about. And he's called out, the last crisis and all these different things. I respect him. So I might be, an agitator and mess with him, but at the end of the day, I respect him. But be careful what you say on social media. Be careful of the things you post on your Instagram. Be careful of the hate and the insults you put out there in social media, because realistically, it's a reflection of yourself. And if you're wise enough, you feel bad for those individuals. If you're wise enough to look at it that way, you feel bad for them, because it means their life probably isn't too great. It probably isn't too great. If they have the time, I barely have the time to do these live streams. You know, right when I get off this live stream, I'm going to be running around my warehouse, cleaning up stuff, packaging stuff, selling stuff. I'm going to have to go home and make dinner, and I'll probably be doing a lot more stuff at that point too. I'm coding things. I'm working on things. I'm marketing. There's so many things on my mind. I don't have the time of day to go onto a live stream and talk bad to somebody. Like how rough does your life have to be in this world right now to go out of your way, go into somebody's live stream, watch them, and talk hateful comments in the comments? Like how rough is your life at that point? Because you really don't have a better thing to do. You don't have a better thing to do than to go and hate on somebody else online. You got to feel sorry for those individuals. You got to feel sorry for them, because it's like I barely have time to take a shower. Like sometimes I wake up in the morning and I just run out of out of my place and get to the warehouse because I don't even have time to take a shower. I got to make sure the packages get out in time, or I don't have time for that. Like I never would have the time for that. So it's got to be really, really rough. Really rough to be able to talk bad to other people, like try to put other people down. Misery does love company. It's true. But that's the thing. It's like when I think about haters, that's how I feel. I feel bad for them. And you know what? I let them come into my live feed and say whatever they want, you know? Make a t-shirt. A lot of people tell me to make merch. You know, at some point, I'm a perfectionist. I'm weird about if I ever come out with an item, it's got to be like perfect. People who designed help me design my website, help me design my logos and stuff like that, and my branding and everything. It's like I'm a perfectionist, and to the point where it's actually a flaw. I like things to be perfect. So at some point I will, but it's got to be perfect. I've been working on a few things behind the scenes. This is still live. Wow. Yeah, Carlos, I flipped the timer. I said I'll flip the timer if we got to 500 likes, but we got to 450. We got close enough, so I flipped the timer for everybody. And we're almost at 500 likes. So based on me flipping the timer, let's get it to 500 likes. All right, can we get it there? Can we get it to 500 likes? We're almost there. 480. We're close. But I wanted to stay live for another 30 minutes. I just appreciate you guys all being here, and it's fun to talk with everybody. But where's Bitcoin at now? And I know there's going to be, there's a video that just got dropped. Peter Schiff drops a video saying Bitcoin is BS. That's what it says on my, look at this. How crazy. I'm coming after you. Peter, I'm going to make a video after this just because of that. This is, if anybody wonders why I made this video, I'm making the video because I just opened my phone and it says this. This is why I'm going to make the video saying why Peter Schiff was so wrong. And I'm even going to screenshot how wrong Peter Schiff really was because of that. I'm going to make that video, guys, just because of that. He says, he makes a video saying Bitcoin, that is simply Peter Schiff going, I want clout. I want clout. I'm going to beat up on the $1 trillion market cap in the corner of the room over here because I want clout. Yeah, I want clout. That's what he's doing. That's literally what he's doing. And I want clout by telling him he's wrong. But guess what? You can go back on my channel, and I have made a video saying Peter Schiff was wrong at $10,000 Bitcoin. I have made a video saying Peter Schiff was wrong at $13,000 Bitcoin. And I made another video saying Peter Schiff was wrong at $17,000 Bitcoin. And on the $13,000 one, he actually commented, I hope your channel ends up doing better than Bitcoin. Ironically enough, my subscriber count, I think, multiplied more than Bitcoin did. But Bitcoin also multiplied like 10x from there. Or not 10x, but like 4x from there. 4x from there. So Peter Schiff called you out, and it was your verified account with a check. You can't delete that comment because I screenshotted it. And so if you delete it, we'll know. But it's there. His comment, I pinned his comment too. I pinned his comment on the top of that video, and that was back when Bitcoin, I believe, was 13,000 when I made that video. It's timestamped. The video is timestamped. And it took me, I think, a day or two to make that video. So I don't know whenever, you can check the timestamp on wherever Bitcoin was on those videos, but they were far under 20,000. So I'm going to make another video on how wrong Peter Schiff is about that. And maybe I should take some points on, I could come say some things about gold. I could say some things about gold, but I want gold to succeed. Just like I want Bitcoin to succeed, just like I want silver to succeed, because what is the real problem, Peter, is not putting, oh, Bitcoin is BS in your title and chasing clout. The real problem, see that your constant negativity towards Bitcoin makes me want to throw up. But the real problem is the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trillions of fiat currency out there. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, quadrillions of fiat currency out there. That's the real problem. So why are you bashing on the $1 trillion thing in the corner that stands to really expose how wrong the banking system is, how wrong the monetary system is? What's the point? Your ally, you're betraying your ally and considering them an enemy. It's like, no, this is your ally. It is informing the youth of what real money could be, what holding sound money is all about. Like people that never knew what the gold standard was, never even understood what the term fiat currency is. These are individuals that thought, a pile of cash was money, and now they're going, wait a minute, I'm rethinking my whole thought process and what I thought money was because I'm passionate about Bitcoin now, so it's done a very beautiful thing for society in teaching them what money could be and what is so wrong with the current monetary structure that we have. So there's no $1 trillion cap in the corner when you have, such a big adversary out there. Adversary, I think that's the right word. You have the hundreds and hundreds and trillions of fiat currency out there. It's like, what in the world are you doing, dude? Like, what's your problem? What's your problem? Are you that mad that your kid's ROI has smashed your ROI for 20 years in the past year? Are you that mad about that? That your own son is smashing the ROI of your fund? That your fund couldn't compete nearly with the same ROI that your son has? Is that bothering you, Mr. Schiff? That your own son is doing better than what is it, Euro Capital? Something like that? Your own son's ROI is just absolutely smashing your returns? Is that bothering you, Peter? Because there's no reason to be bashing on a $1 trillion thing in the corner when there's hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars out there. Is it bothering you that much? So everybody that shares this video, everybody that likes this video, everybody that gets this information out there, maybe one day I'm able to debate Peter Schiff, but I'm telling you, he's going to have a very, very hard time debating me. The only class I liked in college, the only one, was debate team. That was the only one I liked. I actually traveled on debate team and all of that. That was the one class I liked, was debate and communications. Other than that, I was a fish out of water in college. But I had one professor on debate team that said the coolest line to me. He's like, debate is all about finding the one needle to the balloon. You want to find the needle to the balloon, and if you're lucky, you find 3 of them. You want to find the one point that there just isn't a counter to. That's how you win a debate. You find a point that somebody just can't counter. And the point that you can't counter with Bitcoin, the first one for me, which is like the ultimate one, is saying, why are you even wasting your time bashing on this in the first place? It's such it's a helpful thing. It's brilliant. And then also the next point would be, well, do you consider PayPal to be valueless? Like, do you consider PayPal to have no value at all? Because it's an escrow. It's a network escrow of money. It's your money, right? That you trust PayPal to move to another party. And it has a $310 billion valuation on that. And it's operating off fiat currency. But they, ironically enough, adopted Bitcoin. Ironically enough, they adopted Bitcoin. So to say there's no value, there's no intrinsic value behind Bitcoin, so wrong. And the worst part is Peter hasn't come up with a new argument in 10 years. He hasn't come up with a new argument in 10 years. So it's going to be pretty easy to pick apart his arguments in a debate because he hasn't come up with a new one in 10 years. It's been the same argument. He hasn't been... like the PayPal thing I just said, that's a new one. I didn't talk about that in my last video I did on why he's wrong, or my last 3 videos on why Peter's wrong. That's a new one. So you got to come up with at least a couple new arguments. Use some creativity, Peter. Instead of doing another, Raycon wireless ad or another, whatever ad that you do on your channel, maybe take that extra time that you do doing those little ads you do for Raycon wireless, or maybe you'll do a Blue Chew one soon. Who knows what you'll do next? But Peter Schiff, maybe when you're doing those ads in the middle of your podcast, that you should spend a little bit extra time studying a new argument, because it's been the same one for 10 years and it's getting kind of bland at this point. It is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, I would. He would try to not let me get one word in, but he'd have a hard time. He'd have a hard time. He'd have a hard time. Everybody that is that helps my channel grow, we will eventually put it in the universe. We will eventually get Peter Schiff on. We will eventually get Peter Schiff on, and maybe we do like a chess game where it's like, okay, my timer is on. Don't talk. My timer's on. Okay, now your timer's on. You know, it's gonna be. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I think the hourglass is empty. It's got a little bit left in there. It's got a little bit left in there. But we did hit 500 likes. We hit 500 likes. That's awesome. People are saying Silver Squirrel t-shirt. I like it. I like it. And let's check just for the fun of it. Let's check where Bitcoin is right now. Bitcoin's at 51,000 right now. It's recovering pretty well. And by the way, what has gold done? Mr. Schiff, what has gold done over the past 6 months? Let's pull up the 6-month chart real quick on gold. Let's take a look. How's gold doing? Is gold doing pretty well? Because we'll pull up the 6-month chart on silver too. How's gold doing? Everybody see that? Wait, hang on. Looks pretty flat. And it actually looks downward too. Looks downward and flat. Downward and flat on gold for Peter Schiff. Now, Peter Schiff is now starting to talk about silver recently. Wasn't talking about silver when I was talking about silver, but now he's talking about silver lately because silver's 6-month chart looks like this. It's actually starting to head up. It's starting to head up. But then when we pull the 1-year chart up, you see just how well silver is doing compared to gold. Silver and platinum crushing gold. Silver, platinum, and Bitcoin crushing gold. So the reason why gold is manipulated is because the whole argument for gold is, well, you want to decentralize your money and you want to have physical money again. Well, guess who is, every time we have done that, what happens? You trust a custodian and the custodian takes all the gold. That's why I believe in industrial metals. Industrial precious metals are the best metals to be in. That's platinum and silver. And now I'll do some more research on rhodium and palladium, but platinum and silver is where I want to be right now. That's where I want to be. Bitcoin more so than gold. So I like Bitcoin more than gold. I like silver more than Bitcoin. I like platinum more than Bitcoin, but I like Bitcoin more than gold. That's where I stand, and that's where I have stood for a very long time. And people can go back in my videos on my channel, and you can check that. And that's what's so beautiful about YouTube is everything is time-stamped. All the videos are up there, and you can judge for yourself. But yeah, Peter, next time, maybe while you're in the middle of an ad on your podcast, think up a new concept, a new logical concept, because people, it's like saying the same thing over and over again. It gets kind of boring. But I would love to debate Peter Schiff at some point. I'd love to debate Peter Schiff on some point, at some point. Then you lost money. You should love Bitcoin overall. You know, you're right that I would have made more money if I had all of my money in Bitcoin. Now I have a good amount. I've done well on Bitcoin, probably a lot better than most on Bitcoin. I've done pretty well. But I am not able to buy Bitcoin with the same conviction that I'm able to buy silver. So although my return is not as much as it would have been with Bitcoin, I made a lot because I bought it with such conviction, because I felt confident in it. And I also slept better at night. There's something to be said about getting good sleep and not being stressed out all the time. And silver does that for me. So there is that. So, but yeah, you know, there is missed opportunity there for sure in Bitcoin. But I do believe in Bitcoin. But I really do love silver a lot. Yeah, and it's like, dude, this dude loves silver. I feel it. I love silver. I love silver a lot. I want to be the leader of the Silver Squirrel movement. You know, like I've always joked around. It's funny. Someone's brought up like Silver Squirrel, and it's funny because I've literally, if you go through my Instagram, you go down, I've been like, this is my spirit animal way before we were talking silver squirrels. I've always considered a squirrel my spirit animal. I've joked around. If people that follow me on Facebook and they know, it's like I've always joked around about silver squirrels. or being a squirrel in general. I haven't said the term silver squirrel until recently, but being a squirrel is always like, it's like a joking term in the collector's world. It's like, Rob, sell me that item. Come on, man. You know you want to sell me. And it's like, nope, I like that one too much. And then you would joke around as a collector or as a dealer and go, you squirrel. You're such a squirrel, man. Why are you such a squirrel with your stuff, you collector? You know, and I am that. In my business, it's like I am the squirrel where I just am like, no, I like my Credit Suisse bars. I'm going to keep those. Like, I like those ones. Like, no, I like that. That's mine bar. I like those ones. Those are mine. And I forgot about them. I don't even know where they are. I put them in hibernation mode. I don't know where they are. So this man's got to sleep and a man's got to eat. It's true, Greg. It's true. I'm going to sign out here. I think the timer's almost down. Yeah, it's literally getting to the last thing. I'll show you. I did it. I stayed for another 30 minutes for you guys. I stayed for another 30 minutes. You can see right there, the timer's running out. That's the fun part about doing these live feeds. You get to see it, right? And it's gone. Just went out right there, right on camera. So I stayed for another 30 minutes for you guys. And that actually, wow, that is actually really accurate. I flipped that over at exactly 2 hours and 30 minutes, and we're exactly 3 hours within 9 seconds. So if you haven't smashed that like button, would really appreciate it. If you got that pillow down here, got the fancy pillow, smash the like button. Helps this information get out there to more people. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing to the channel. Have a lot of fun doing these live feeds. I plan to do them for an hour. I end up doing them for 3 hours just because I love you guys so much. Thank you again. And if you want to be subscribed, it's totally free to subscribe. Just click that red subscribe button down below and the bell afterwards, and then click all notifications. You'll be notified of all future live streams and all future videos on this channel. And look forward to a video from me. I'm going to listen to this video that Peter Schiff just dropped on clout chasing Bitcoin, but we will have our own rebuttal video on this channel as well. So look forward to that. If you are subscribed, that will come. If I missed your question down there, if I missed your question, shoot me a DM on Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. I will get back to everyone's DMs on my Instagram. So if I missed your question, please do shoot me a message on Instagram. Follow me there at Rob Sultan on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in. Signing out. Have a great rest of your evening and a great start to your week. What's today? Forget what day it even is. What are we at? It's Tuesday right now. So I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday and a great start to your week. Signing out. See you guys at the next live stream. See you.